will be joining them. The flag was donated by 4 of the troops in Simi Valley. Once the flag is out, our national anthem will be sung tonight by none other than Moorpark College student Betty Jean Hanna. Betty Jean to please stay there as the Moorpark College Athletics would like to acknowledge Moorpark College student Betty Jean Hanna with this beautiful floral arrangement from Flowers by Maria for her dedication over the past 3 years of singing the national anthem and our new Moorpark tradition of God Bless America at our athletic events. Let's give her a tremendous round of applause. Thank you, Betty Jean Hanna. Flowers by Maria are the official florists of Moorpark College Athletics. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to welcome to the field at the 50-yard line a Moorpark College board member, Bernardo Perez, who's going to give us a few words.
Good evening, everybody. I promise it will be a very few words, but beginning with Betty Jean, thank you again for that lovely rendition for our Star-Spangled Banner. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm happy to be here just to demonstrate our support for the dedicated faculty and staff of the Men of Color, teaching the Men of Color program. Our primary mission is to ensure access and success for all students, and where there are gaps to be filled, such as through this program, we are happy and proud to to these programs, again, to ensure the continued success and future success for our students. So thank you very much for your continued support of faculty and staff, Moorpark College, and the other colleges of the Ventura County Community College District. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando Perez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Stewart pregame show presented to you by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. My name is Ryan Ketchum alongside Nick Federico and Justin Borsis, play-by-play commentator alongside the two color commentator analysts for you this evening. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into your coverage of Moorpark College football here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. We are currently here at Griffin Stadium, home of the Raiders, where they're going to be playing host to the visiting Long Beach City College Vikings, who are coming into this game with a 3-4 record, while the Raiders are coming in with a 1-6 record. And this is actually going to be the final regular season game of the year. It's kind of unimaginable to just think that the season started so long ago. It felt like it was just yesterday that we started this season, but we are very thankful for a team that has been with us. So as we do go on to this game, since it is the last regular season game of the year, for home games, we have sophomore night, which if you just heard from our boom mic down on the field, you heard Drew Mathis's name. He's one of the sophomores that are going to be recognized. But sophomores for the Raider Spirit Squad for the Moorpark Raider football team. It's basically senior night for sophomores here at the community college level. But everything is ready to go. We have Veterans Day as well, which this game is going to be basically recognizing veterans, as well as Tamakas, which is teaching men of color advocates. We're going to have a few interviews at halftime. But now to get into the game action, Raiders coming off of a loss against Ventura College in the 51st Annual Citrus Cup at Ventura College. And then Long Beach City College is coming off of a loss, 22-17 against Bakersfield College. We're going to focus on Moorpark right now. The offense, it seemed like Troy Smith was moving the ball a little bit towards the end of the game, and when he was in against Ventura College, Ethan Postler started off the game moving the ball, but it seemed like they kind of silenced out. They weren't able to move the football down the field until that change was made. So how do you think that's going to affect the game today with quarterback situation?
Well, I think what it's going to affect, Ryan, is basically the overall aspect of the game. Now, like you mentioned, last game there was a 2-quarterback rotation. And I think one thing that we noticed is they definitely changed the scheming and the overall offense, the packages that Moorpark ran last week. And that's what you need to do. Now, unfortunately, Moorpark has not had too much success offensively this year. But they did show signs of success, and they did things that we hadn't seen them do before, like put Ivory Jackson in at tight end, Troy Smith at Wildcat, rotating the quarterbacks in, getting in looks that we haven't seen thus far. And what that does for an opposing defense like the Vikings is it keeps them on their toes. They're not able to adjust to the Moorpark offense that they've seen all year. Of course, they've been studying these guys for weeks. But this week, too, I think that they have done a great job of adding new packages and overall just playing around with the 2 quarterbacks to get a sense of who's going to be starting tonight in this game.
Okay, that's great, and also start talking about the quarterbacks, but now let's move on. We have some sophomores on our wide receiver core, Kyle Peterson, Vinny Corso. How do you think this game is going to affect them a little bit to be able to come out big? We also have Brandon Archibald. He's a freshman, however.
Well, it's interesting because looking at the numbers, we've talked about Vinny Corso as the number 1 option, but Curtis Coulier has the most receptions on the season. So he's been featured a lot, but because of it being sophomore day, I would think that they would want to feature Corso, maybe Peterson, people that if they're sophomores that haven't played, that may be playing more because of the day that we're having and the significance of it. Hopefully they will be featured today.
Definitely, hopefully they will be featured today. You mentioned the significance of the day with sophomore night. Recognizing veterans, also recognizing Tamakas, teaching men of color advocates. So it's a very special night here, also with the last regular season home game of the year. There's still 2 more games remaining on the Moorpark Raiders schedule, which is going to be at Bakersfield and then at East LA. So this is not going to be the last game of the year. But now focusing on the defensive side of the football, we got guys like Drew Mathis, Ivory Jackson, DJ Turner. We have Dylan Chong, who are all the top players on the defense side, at least leading in tackles. How do you think they could affect this team and rally them together to be able to finish off these last 3 games strong?
Well, I think it's probably the strongest part of the Moorpark team, and especially the defense as a whole, is, you talked about guys like Ivory Jackson, Justin Valawaga, Drew Mathis. I mean, what I think they need to do is they need to continue to do what they've done all year, and that is just continue to blitz. Okay, they're doing a great job of getting inside and causing pressure. We've seen how effective that those guys can be when they're able to get pressure on the quarterback. And with a quarterback like Drake Peabody, who we might see tonight, he's a runner. He's actually the number 3 leading rusher for the Vikings. So if they're able to keep him in the pocket and force him to throw, he only has 10 touchdowns on the year. So what that means is he definitely does like to run just a little bit more than he likes to throw. Has 4 rushing touchdowns as well. So if guys like that and the pass rush is exceptional tonight, then what that's going to do, it's going to force him to throw. And as we've seen, at least statistically, that's not necessarily what he wants to do all the time. So that will cause a lot of problems for the Vikings tonight.
Now, Ivory does have 10 sacks on the year. Drew Mathis has 5.5. So they are the keys in terms of the rush. But you talked about Dylan Chung. They're physical. They've been able to have plenty of tackles a game this year. Interestingly, Jonathan Murphy for the opposing side did start last week. So I'm interested to see who will not only start at quarterback, but who will be the option going forward. They both can run. So that aspect remains. So it'll be interesting to see how much the rush can affect, because if they can run, it has less of an effect to me based on the fact that they can break, contain, and work outside the pocket.
And that is a good point, that both of those quarterbacks are a dual threat, so they both can get out of the pocket. At least the teams that we have played this season, Moorpark College that is, have played this season that have had 2 quarterback system. It's been a pocket passer, and then it has been a rushing quarterback. It's been more of a dual threat quarterback. So what can that do to defense? Obviously, you're going to be having containment the whole entire game. You're going to be expecting the rush. So can that kind of help Moorpark a little bit?
It can. But what you're going to need, to me, would be an extra defender that you wouldn't normally bring.
Okay.
You talk about the blitz, it means that you may want to have an extra man in coverage that you might have to bring down, whether that be a Dylan Chung, whether that be a DJ Turner, who can be physical, but we have seen them be featured in the passing game as well. So it's not a compromising position, but it certainly means that your secondary defenders need to pick up the slack a little bit more in terms of making sure those receivers, guys like Jonathan Bonds, the number 1 target for them in the passing attack, can stay together, because the run can be featured so heavily it could lead to a passing attack that's harder to cover.
Okay, also, now speaking about the passing attack, they have a lot of time in the pocket. They have 2 offensive guards, so 2 players on their offensive line that are ranked in the top 100 in the nation in junior college athletes. It's just pretty incredible to see that there's 2 players on that list that are on the offensive line. So how can that help a team like that? But what does Moorpark need to do to be able to get inside and be able to pressure the quarterback with having those 2 big guys on the offensive line?
I think they just need to attack, especially those 2 guards, because like you said, or those 2 guys on the line, because if they're able to do that, they can terrorize the entire offensive line, because obviously, as you just said, these are ranked athletes. These are high caliber players. If you can take down their 2 top players and cause confusion within the offensive line, it's going to destroy and disrupt the rest of the offense. Of course, nothing can be done without the offensive line. So if you can cause problems up front, then the rest of the team is going to have trouble.
And correction on my rankings, is actually in the top 200. One of the players is just outside of the top 150, but both of them are top 200.
Speed. We've talked about speed all season. The ability for them to contain, but that can help contain the line, because you can jump the snap, you can get to the outside a little bit easier. So speed is going to be the key today to both maintaining and stopping the offensive line.
Definitely speed is key, so it's going to be interesting. We do have your coverage of Moorpark College football here. We'll be back in the booth in just a few minutes. It's the Raiders versus the Vikings of Long Beach City College. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to your coverage, however, of the Mike Stewart pregame show presented by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. We'll be back with game coverage in just a few moments.
used to pray for times like this, to grind like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this. So the matter of time I spent, I be locked up in the back of the paddy wagon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your coverage of Moorpark College football here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. We're here at Griffin Stadium, home of the Moorpark Raiders, where they're playing host to the Long Beach City College Vikings. And we just came back from the Mike Stewart pregame show presented to you by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness, which is going to be the game sponsor as well. And we're getting ready for the game right now. Moorpark Raiders not starting off the season too well with a 1-6 record, but can finish the season off with a 4-6 record if they're able to get some good games against Long Beach City College, Bakersfield coming up next, and then East LA coming up after that. So how do you expect the Raiders to be able to start off this game? Obviously, starting off strong is what you want to do, but how do you expect the Raiders to be able to start off this one with everything that has been happening this season?
I think the main thing, Ryan, is they need to keep the energy level from the start. So, of course, if you looked at just their first series performances, defensively, offensively, they start off strong every single time they come out, especially at home. We've seen interceptions, turnovers, touchdowns. They're awesome when they start the game off, but they always seem to lose that flame, and that spark seems to die out, especially at halftime. The adjustments don't seem to be made the quite right way that they need to be, and it seems that they aren't able to carry that energy and that excitement to the second half. So ultimately, it's just keeping up with the momentum, keeping up with the intensity throughout the entire game. That's a huge problem that they haven't been able to fix up to this point in the season.
We discussed it earlier, but having Smith in at quarterback would help them a lot, because you would be able to have that rushing attack that Postler may not be able to give you because he isn't known as a runner. Smith can get out of the pocket and improvise, which I think can add so much to Moorpark's team.
That can add a lot to a team. I see why they go with a pocket passer, just for that passing ability so they can hand off to Archibald. But when you have a quarterback that can do that as well, it definitely adds a different dynamic to your team. Especially, usually running quarterbacks are better on throwing on the run as well because they're able to get outside the pocket. But as we have the opening kickoff here for the final regular season game at home for the Raiders, Kyle Peterson is returning the kick, gets past the 25, gets some blocking in front of him, past the 40. It's going to be great field position for the Raiders.
And that's a great job by Kyle Peterson, reading his blockers, kind of feeling the backs of them and cutting up that hole, which was so small. Moorpark does a great job, actually, in returns. This year alone, they have averaged over 100 yards a game in returns, and that's a large part to people such as Vinny Corso and Kyle Peterson.
So now the Moorpark Raiders are going to be taken over at their own 44-yard line. Only 56 yards to pay dirt that they have to start out with. As we've been mentioning prior to this game, it's going to be number 10, Troy Smith, in at the quarterback position, under center. Single back set, going for the run. That's Archibald on the carry. Archibald only able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be very important for Moorpark to get the run established today, because as we saw at the end of last game, Smith was able to complete some throws that we had seen. So because it's so early in this game, having that ability is key for them.
So now Smith in the shotgun. Archibald is a man in motion. They're going opposite of him. Hits his man, able to get a gain of about 2 on the play. That's going to be Curtis Collier, number 3 on the reception.
In Long Beach right there, you saw they kind of swarmed around there. Great job. They were able to read the screen right away, break up the block, and tackle him for a gain of maybe 2.
And we can almost say that Collier, it can become the new number 1 now, considering he has the most receptions on this team.
That was off of a 2nd down and 10. Now it's going to be a 3rd down and 8. Ball at the 46-yard line. In shotgun, Smith, 5-man rush, pass it down the middle. That's Boucher. Boucher breaks a tackle, spin move, dives forward, looks to be about a yard shy of the 1st down marker, though.
You got to give him props right there. That was an exceptional job. They were fighting for every inch. You saw him leap out there trying to pick up that 1st down. Unfortunately, it is going to be short. They are going to go for it, though. I like to see the aggressive call early on in the game.
Yes, and they are going for it. It's going to be a 4th down and 1. Actually, they're calling it a 1st down. The chains did not move at first, so that was just coming up with the confusion. But it is going to be a 1st down and 10 from the 46 of the Vikings. under center, going to hand it off to Archibald right away, and they're there for the tackle, bringing him down for a tackle for loss.
And that was a great job. I just want to talk about that play prior. Will Boucher stretching out and keeping that drive alive. I mean, that's something that we talked about. They need to keep that energy throughout the game.
And I believe on defense that was number 44, Noah Bias, able to really jump the snap almost immediately to stop that play before it really ever developed.
That's right, Noah Bias, pardon me.
So now they're setting up a 2nd down and 12. Smith evading the sack as he has to throw on the run, able to get into Corso, unbelievable catch for a 1st down.
That was a great job seeing. That's one of the benefits you have of putting in Troy Smith at quarterback. He's mobile, he's versatile. He's able to roll out of the pocket, throw off his back foot, and find his receiver, in this case Corso, for a huge 1st down.
Now Raiders with a 1st and 10 from the 28. They go in I formation, a fumble on the snap it looked like as Troy Smith able to recover it, almost fumbles it again, but finally gets out of bounds.
Well, it looked like that extra fumble may have gone out of bounds regardless of had he lost it or not. Lucky play there. We talk about Smith, his ability, his balance and his ability to move while throwing is a great dimension to have. He's been very accurate on the passes that we've seen him throw, even at a small sample size to start for this season.
Yes, and alluding to a small sample size, 27 attempts, 14 completions for Smith prior to this game. 2nd down and 9 now coming up. Drawing back to pass, looking for Archibald in the end zone. It's going to be incomplete. It looked like he might have been able to catch it in triple coverage, but it's going to fall incomplete.
And that was a great throw right there. I mean, look at when you give Troy Smith some time in the pocket. Not only is he great when he's running the ball, but when you really see him have time to step back in the pocket and let it unload, that was a great throw there. I mean, just barely broken away.
And there's a sense of calmness, too, that I think I'm seeing from him that is very cool to watch. He's able to stay composed as he throws the ball.
We were talking about.
So now it's going to be a 3rd down and 9 ball at the 27-yard line. Trips on the left side of the formation. Throwing it to that left side. Peterson looked to be open, but the pass flew out of bounds.
And as we were talking about in the pregame show, you know, getting some of these other players in that we haven't seen yet this year in different formation and schemes, that was a great job on that play prior, getting Archibald out there in the backfield because he is so fast, guys. If he is able to catch the ball, he can be just as deadly receiving as he is rushing.
And what I like that Moorpark is doing is they are designing the rollouts, and they are using his skill set to their advantage by getting him to the outside.
11:39 left in the 1st quarter of action. Score still 0-0 on the 4th down and 9. They're going for it, and Long Beach comes up with the sack. It almost looked like Troy Smith got out of it for a second, but they come up with the sack.
And he is known to do that time and time again. Last week against Ventura, he was able to get out of about 4 or 5 sacks last week because he's so elusive. Unfortunately, not on this time as Long Beach is able to stop the long drive.
And that's a tough play call in terms of what you'd want to do because you're right on the fringe of field goal range. We've seen Riley Garrett, he has a leg, but it's a very tough decision to make at that spot in the field.
So now's our first chance of seeing Long Beach City College this game on their offensive side of the field. 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. It's going to be a handoff straight up the middle, powering forward past the 45-yard line, still going on his feet, just shy of midfield.
And that's one of the star athletes for the running back position, Pierre Robinson, the 5'9", 182-pound freshman out of Paramount High School. He's the number 2 leading rusher actually on this team.
And just a quick note, number 4, Jonathan Murphy, the 5'10", 185-pound freshman quarterback is in right now. Just got a 1st down off of the run.
As we said, he did start last week as well.
So on the 1st and 10, it's going to be a fake handoff looking for his man on a streak route. He had Turner beat, but it's going to fall incomplete. Intended receiver on the play was Victor Bates, number 1.
And that's the man-to-man coverage we were talking about earlier in the game, too. It's, you know, Moorpark struggles thus far in the year with the man coverage. They play a lot better in zone just because it's a little bit more conservative. They have more breathing room. So look to see if they go to a more of a zone coverage as the game progresses.
Just above 11 minutes left in the 1st quarter, a 2nd and 10 coming up from their own 49-yard line. Lone receiver Victor Bates on the near side. Jonathan Bonds and number 8, Milshawn Lathan on the far side, as it's going to be a handoff. Raiders are there. The football is loose. It looks like the Raiders got it. We have to see for a ruling, but it looks like the Raiders have it.
And that's what we're talking about early on in the game. Moorpark is able to make these tremendous plays week after week. Now they need to capitalize on this turnover. That was a huge play that just shifted the momentum right back. Great job by the entire defense.
And what was interesting is you saw that they were trying to strip the ball before he came down. So they were going for the ball to begin with on that play. There is a man down right now, I think, for
And
Vikings.
it almost looked like they just got it before he reached the ground, so Raiders were able to get it. There is an injured Viking down on the field. Hopefully he's okay. Everybody clearing off the field to show respect for him, so he's just with his training staff right now, so hopefully he's okay. But as we do have a break in the action, we're going to thank a few of our sponsors. We can't do without our sponsors, so thank you very much for sponsoring Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. U.S. Army. Go on business trips with a company like no other at U.S. Army. Big Brand Tire and Service. Big Brand Tire and Service, big means go. A proud corporate partner of Moorpark College Athletics. Rise up. Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo is recommitting to help all of our customers succeed financially. At Wells Fargo, established in 1852 and reestablished in 2018. UCLA Health is a proud sponsor of Moorpark College Athletics with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you at UCLA Health. It begins with you. Thank you for all of our sponsors. The injured player down on the field was the running back, number 20, Pierre Robinson. He's being carried off the field by his teammates as he is not putting pressure on either leg, so hopefully he's okay. Obviously, Moorpark, you want to be able to play against the best competition, and Long Beach, you want to have your best players in, so hopefully he is just A-okay as the Raiders have the ball with a 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line inside Viking territory. Under center, I formation, fake handoff. Good block as he's passing it down the field. Intended receiver was Curtis Collier. There will be a penalty flag, most likely defensive pass interference is what we saw.
And that was a great job by Couillard. You know, he's selling the fake right there. You saw, or pardon me, not selling the fake. That was a great job. Smith selling the fake, but a great job by Couillard as he cut back. You saw him do what we call a post out, which he basically runs a post and then cuts off his back foot and able to plant right outside. He did such a great job of selling his hips that number 2 for the Vikings, who is Jordan Yancey, was unable to keep up with him, and he actually had to hold him a little bit. So because of that, he was able to pick up the defensive PI. So that was a great job by Curtis Couillard.
Yeah, so it is going to be holding against the Vikings secondary, bringing them to a 1st down right now on this drive. So now with a 1st and 10, ball at the 27-yard line. Archibald is the man in motion, goes out for the swing pass route. Smith goes opposite, goes for Curtis Colliard in the end zone. Someone came up with the football. It looks like Long Beach has it. They're still waiting for the rolling.
He might have came down with it out of bounds.
Yeah, they still haven't rolled it, but
I think they called it a touchback. I thought I saw a signal from the referee waving backwards, which usually means if you catch it in the end zone, they put it at, is it the 20 or the 25?
20-yard line.
20-yard line, okay.
Jordan Yancey coming up with the interception for Long Beach City College, giving their football right back to them as Smith tried to hit Couillard in the back corner of the end zone.
Yancey just made up for his mistake in one play, gives up a PI and then gets an interception.
So now on the 1st down and 10, it's going to be a handoff up the middle. That's number 5 on the carry, Mason Bowen.
Bowen can also be featured. They have a very deep core in the running back department. They run the football a lot, both with their quarterbacks and their running backs. So look to see a lot of interchangeable parts today.
Now setting up for a 2nd down and 6 on their own 24-yard line. Just above 10 minutes left in the 1st quarter. 0-0 score stands. Passing it on the little crossing route. Going to be a slant route, able to get it to number 1, Victor Bates, for the 1st down.
Bates, another big target for the passing attack.
So now on the first down, it's going to be a first down and 10. Ball on their own 32-yard line for the Vikings. An empty backfield set. Trips on the left side with stacked receivers in the slot. Dropping back on a three-man rush, actually. He just dives forward for about a gain of 4 on the play.
And sometimes that's the smartest thing to do. Great job. Murphy realized everyone was covered there. No time. The pocket was collapsing, and sometimes you just got to take off and pick up a couple extra yards. Smart decision.
Murphy, empty backfield set once again. It's now a second down and 6. Ball on their own 36-yard line for the Vikings. There's a man in motion going back in the backfield. That's Bowen. It's going to be a handoff to him. Going to the right side, off the tackle. There's going to be a penalty flag thrown as Antoine Wynn comes up with the tackle.
And that's the tough part for Moorpark, is that with this depth, it's very hard to read who's going to be running the football.
There's going to be a holding penalty against the offense.
It's also going to be interesting to see how the Vikings adjust. Pierre Robinson is one of their premier rushing athletes, and he just went down. So it's going to be a challenge for the Vikings to see how they're able to adjust to losing such a star player.
And I believe that Bowen is considered the third option.
That's right, the number 3, so he moves up to the number 2.
That's correct. So Bowen, who may not have been featured as much today, will definitely have to step up into a role that he may not be as familiar with this evening.
So far this season, Mason Bowen, 12 carries for 80 yards and 1 touchdown. Pierre Robinson, that got out with an injury, 43 carries, 365 yards, and 4 touchdowns. As looking down the field in the middle, intended receiver on the play was number 2, Jonathan Bonds.
And as you just stated, Ryan, you can see the difference in experience between 44 carries and 12 carries. So Bowen definitely not nearly accustomed to the running back position. Now, he has scored a touchdown. He has had a couple of reps, which is great to see. It's not completely new to him, but it definitely is going to be a challenge for them to adjust that chemistry.
So now a third down and 15 coming up on their own 27. Empty backfield set for Murphy. 4-man rush. Valawaga is right there. He has to take it himself. Gets about 4 on the play, but is going to bring up a 4th and 11.
And this is what Moorpark's game plan is. They're trying to get the Vikings behind the sticks and then be able to keep contained and give up yardage where they can to make up for the loss of size or speed.
So with that 4th down and 11, ball on their own 31-yard line, obvious punting situation for the Vikings. 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Vinny Corso, number 12 from the Raiders, back to receive the punt. He's a senior, a sophomore on the team, correction. Not a senior. You only see usually freshmen and sophomores at the junior college level, but he fair caught it right at about the 44-yard line.
And the Moorpark defense stepping up once again with creating another 3-and-out, right? Or pardon me, not 3-and-out, but creating another turnover, forcing them to give the ball back up. They've been playing exceptional up to this point in the game.
A quick update, the first drive of the game for Long Beach City College, a first down and then a fumble. Second drive, a first down, and then they got set up with a 4th and 11 and had to punt it. Now the Raiders on their third drive of the game. I formation, hands it off to the fullback on the 1st and 10 from their own 44, able to get about 6 on the carry.
I think that was number 89, Louis St. Pierre, too, on the carry.
Yeah, usually featured at a tight end position. 2nd and 4, now handing it off. Up the middle, able to get a first down on the play. That's Alex Tilley, number 27.
And Moorpark is using their depth early. You talked about Pierre. He scored the only points of the game last week when Postler threw a touchdown pass to him in the game against Ventura. So they're using the depth today. Tilley also being used.
Now in this first down and 10, thrown out. A little almost wide receiver screen play, but the blocking didn't work. Number 80 was there on the reception for the Moorpark Raiders, kind of the speedy receiver, Alex Sardi.
And that was Malik Street on the tackle right there. One thing I'm noticing up to this point in the game so far, guys, is how Moorpark, how we talked about a little bit earlier, is they're incorporating some new athletes into their offense, and they've had success thus far. I mean, Louis St. Pierre at the fullback position is something new.
Yeah, and in the I formation, they hand it off to Tilly. Tilly trucks a guy and is able to get the first down.
And here is also something that's interesting. They're doing it from under center. Moorpark, for the majority of this year, has been primarily a shotgun team, so they're looking for a different scheme here.
And a quick up-pace offense as they're already set up for the next play on a 1st down and 10. Hands it off once again to Tilly straight up the middle, able to get 2 on the carry since the line of scrimmage, is at the 32-yard line. 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter of play, 0-0. Score still stands. 2 first drives on this drive alone.
Troy Smith is playing very confident right now, very cool under pressure.
That's 1st downs to be exact. Now in the I formation off a 2nd and 7. Hands it off to Tilly off the left tackle, able to get a 1st down and a little more.
And one reason that Moorpark could be using Tilly as much as they have could be because he hasn't had that much playing time in the past. So they're giving this team something new that they may not be able to see on tape.
And on top of that, Justin, he's also just having a ton of success with him running the ball. So I think that's another reason as well. I mean,
if it ain't broke, why?
Exactly.
Why not?
I mean, they're having a lot of success, so might as well keep him in there.
1st down and 10. Ball at the 18-yard line. Handed off to Tilly once again, straight to the middle. Gets inside the 15, deep inside the red zone.
And what the Raiders are doing right now is they're forcing the Vikings to adjust to their run game. Right now, they're having so much success with it. There is no need for them to pass. So what they're doing is they're forcing the Vikings to stop the run, and then they're saying, okay, then we'll throw the ball against you.
And what this can impact is time of possession now, because that means that the Vikings will not get the ball as much, and Moorpark is looking to eat up that time so that they can maintain their defensive edge too.
Just a quick side note. Brandon Archibald, 5'11", 170. Alex Tilly, 5'11", 190. 20 more pounds of mass on him as Tilly gets the handoff once again. Only able to get back to the line of scrimmage, however.
Vikings. Sorry, just go ahead.
At this point, would you consider Tilly almost a running back because he's been used? I mean, he hasn't been. He's obviously 20 pounds heavier, and he hasn't been used as much.
Absolutely.
Listed as a linebacker in the backfield right now. 3rd down and 5 coming up. 4:40 left in the first quarter right now. Score still 0-0. 3rd down and 5 coming up. Ball at the 14-yard line, knocking on the door of the end zone for the Raiders. Same formation as Tilly is the man in motion, goes out for a swing route. They go middle to Boucher, but it's going to fall incomplete. It seems like Curtis Couliard wanted the pass.
Curtis Couliard got wide open right there. He beat Yancey deep. Unfortunately, Smith wasn't able to see all his progressions and didn't see him in time. Tried to force it into Will Boucher, but Curtis Couliard was wide open in the back of the end zone.
And I agree with this move to go for the field goal. Moorpark has generally been aggressive this year, I think, going for 4th downs, but when they've had struggles scoring, it's important to get those points on the board.
Exactly, and keep the tempo of the offense up. I mean, you don't want to work all that for nothing and come away with no points.
So on the 4th down and 5 from the 14, the Raiders are going to be attempting a 31-yard field goal kick. Riley Garrett, the big leg, gets it to go from 31 and puts the Raiders up 3-0 in the regular season home finale.
And we know that he has a leg because we saw him make, I believe it was a 49-yarder in a game previous to this one. So obviously that should be a piece of cake for him.
So a 3-0 lead for the Raiders, switching up a little bit on offense with the scheme, going a lot of under center, having the I formation, handing it off to a fullback, having that extra blocker in the backfield. Alex Tilly, a little bit of a bigger running back. Do you think the Raiders stick with it? I mean, they were able to have so much success, 3 first downs on that drive alone.
I definitely think they stick with that just because of the success that, I mean, yeah, it picked up 3 first downs in a row. They couldn't stop them for the first 4 or 5 rushes of the game. So why, like we're just going to say, why fix it if it's not broken?
So the Raiders setting up to kick it off. They received the opening kickoff of the game, so Long Beach will be receiving the opening kickoff of the second half. Just a quick side note on that. 3-0 lead for the Raiders, 4:22 left in the first quarter. Hage Mokshian, number 97 with the kickoff. Going to be recovered from their own 5-yard line. Switching sides of the field. Going back to the far side on the right side. Able to get past the 35-yard line. There's going to be a penalty flag thrown from the Moorpark Raiders sideline.
That's an interesting spot for a flag. You rarely see it thrown somewhere like around there. Usually if it's thrown for an illegal block in the back or a hold back near the 20.
Or it could be something like that.
Yep.
Someone's talking. I want to point up while we saw that flag right there, both of these teams actually not very well disciplined when it comes to the mental aspect of the game. Both of these teams actually come into this game with averaging over 100 yards in penalties per game. So one thing that can definitely show is the team with less penalties tonight can potentially have a better chance of winning tonight.
So it is going to be a sideline warning, and on that note, both teams also coaching staff stepping up in high tense situations. So good job by them. Obviously some penalties just need to be changed, such as offsides, false starts, things that you can control. As a 1st and 10, they're going to hand it off up the middle. The Raiders are there for the tackle. It's going to be about a 3-yard gain on the play.
And just to finish off that point, Ryan, Moorpark has 95 penalties on the year. So
there's a lot of penalties there.
Just in terms of the sheer number, but a good tackle there, and I believe another player down.
Yep, there will be another player down on the field.
Is it for the Vikings? I believe
it is for the Vikings.
It is
yes,
for the Vikings.
Does look to be another Vikings player. You hate to see that happen.
It looked like that was Taloon Patoon, who was there on the carry, but while we do have another break in the action, hopefully the injured player down on the field is okay. But we're going to thank a few more of our sponsors once again. We can't do without our sponsors, so thank you very much for helping us out on the Moorpark Raider live streaming here at Moorpark College Athletics. Harley's Simi Bowl is your home for the Moorpark College Raider Athletics, offering bowling, billiards, arcade, and rock and roll pizza. Full-service sports lounge featuring Raiders happy hour every night from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. except on weekends. Cosmic College Night Bowling is Thursday. All you can bowl for $8 from 9 p.m. to midnight. In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste at In-N-Out. Moorpark Center for Dentistry, changing the way people feel about going to the dentist every single day. Moorpark Center for Dentistry loves supporting our community. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly supporting education in Moorpark College football. Lexus, experience amazing. PennyMac, let us tackle all your mortgage needs at PennyMac, the lender you can call home. And the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Southern California Light-powered for 125 years. IBEW Local Number 47 is a proud supporter of Moorpark College Raiders. And once again, thank you very much to all of our sponsors. As the injured player down on the field, it looks to be a severe injury as they just brought out the cart. I wanted to come back to the action. As you see, both sidelines are taking a knee for the injured athlete, even the Raiders cheer squad. So that's a great sign of respect from both teams to each other. Hopefully this injured player is okay. But, I mean, it's always sad to see when you have to have the cart come out.
Right. And what people have to understand, too, is that these players, while this is a sport and it's amazing and it's fun, they can put their lives on the line for things like this. And it's important to have, of course, the medical staff who is tending to him right now, and we hope he is definitely okay and is going to be able to come back from this. But it's important to realize that these are human bodies who are going through major physical contact during a game like this.
Absolutely,
so
and it's like a war zone-like atmosphere. I mean, when you're down there playing, I mean, it is every single play. There's people flying at you. There's helmets hitting and colliding. Muscles, bones are constantly in contact with each other. So, yeah, I mean, this can happen any play, and I think that's why none of these players here tonight take it for granted. And when you see one of your fellow teammates or opposing team players go down, it's one of the worst things that can happen because nobody wants it to happen. It's so unpredictable, and it radically shapes the rest of the season potentially for a team.
One thing that might be a little reassuring, at least I have not seen this yet, I have not seen the board come out. There's a board that they use if there's a player with any spinal injury or anything that has to worry about the head, and they have to put them on the board. There has to be somebody supporting the head the whole entire way, and then they have to put them on the cart. So I have not seen that board yet. Hopefully that's a good sign. At least you never want to see an injury, but when it deals with the head, that can last a lot longer than dealing with a leg. That lasts your whole entire lifetime. So hopefully that's a reassuring sight. They're still tending to him, however, down on the field, but I have not seen the board.
And I think we should say that this sport as a whole, let's not just talk about college, but also in the pros, they've done a lot more research in terms of not only injuries to the head, but injuries as a whole and how to prevent them and how to lessen the likelihood of injuries, which is important. Obviously, the brain, in my opinion, is the most important muscle besides the heart.
Absolutely. I think everyone's going to agree with you on that one, Justin.
So we don't know what the injury is, of course. We're not speculating, but we don't want to make sure that it is something as substantial as that.
And I do want to kind of build off your point, Justin. You're talking about how everyone does a great job with the health and the safety side of football. I mean, the refs here do a spectacular job as he's finally able to get to his feet. It does look like it's definitely not a head injury, which is great to see. But going off that point, it's the refs do a great job along with the coaching staff and the overall commissioners of doing a great job of making sure these players are safe. If there's any illegal contact, head to helmet, helmet to helmet, they make sure that they point it out and they're able to, build off of that because, safety is the number one thing when you're playing football.
And also first of all, it's great to see that the player that was hurt did get up and appears to be functioning. So it is important to note that the player that is on the card did appear, at least to me, to be alert and aware of what was going on, and he obviously stood up. So that's important to note too.
And it always is unfortunate whenever you see a player go down, especially Jacob Viniaganofo. He is number 66. He's one of the star players. He is actually the one that's ranked in the top 100 in junior college football players, offensive guard for the Vikings. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he could come back sometime next season or the rest of this year as we are back to the action. It's a 2nd down and 6. It was a handoff to number 32. That was Taloon Patton.
And Landon Alatorre flying right to that hole. Kind of broke out of his grasp, but he was able to lay a hit long enough to slow down the Long Beach running back.
And Patton, again, maybe he's known as the 4th string. Then he moves up to the 3rd option due to Robinson's injury. So the entire roster shifts.
3rd down and 1 from the 46. Another handoff going out the middle. That wasn't Patton on the carry, however.
And early on, the Long Beach Vikings have already faced a bunch of adversity. I mean, they just lost 2 of their top premier athletes on offense. I mean, we saw earlier in the game Pierre Robinson, thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
And now Ganofo for their offensive line. So I'm curious to see how they're able to battle back from this adversity.
They are set up with a 1st down and 10. Ball placed at their own 48-yard line. Just about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Still a 3-0 lead for the Raiders. Fake handoff. Looks like a little bit of miscommunication. Murphy has to take it himself on the near side. On the left side, breaks a tackle. Good block past the 30. There's going to be a penalty flag inside the 25-yard line.
So this may stay as a 1st down based on when the flag was thrown, where the flag was thrown, but it may be coming back a smidge. But know that the 1st down probably will stay intact.
And up.
It will be holding against the offense. So you said it was a 10-yard. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Usually it's from the area that the holding penalty occurred, so 10 yards before that. And right now they're saying that it occurred at the 40-yard line.
They're going to repeat the first down, though. One thing that Jonathan Murphy has showed up to this point in the game is when he has just a little bit of pressure, he does like to roll out of the pocket. So if Moorpark is able to keep him contained, that can cause some problems for Murphy.
It's interesting to me. It's almost as if both teams are so similar about, now that Smith is the starting quarterback for Moorpark, about how the look of their offense goes.
Yes, Murphy lining up in the pistol on a 1st down and 8. Hands it off up the middle. Able to get close to the 1st down marker. That's Patton.
Patton again.
Patton has done a great job tonight, just like we were talking about with Alex Tilley. Both of these running backs, they are very similar just because they don't get as much playing time, and both of them have been playing great tonight when they are able to get playing time.
Now a 2nd down and 3, hurry up offense. Ball at the 45-yard line. He's going to keep it himself on the option, didn't pitch it off to the running back, and he's going to get the first down with just about 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Jonathan Murphy with a heads-up play. You saw he kind of turned his head away to make the defense think as if he was about to pitch it, then cut it right back up when he saw the adjustment.
Oh, and that's the thing about those RPOs or those pitches. It's up to the quarterback to read whether he thinks he can keep it and get the first down or not. So good recognition.
Now in a 1st down and 10, ball at the 38 is going to be a handoff. Getting tripped up pretty early.
Looks like he got tripped up by his own player. That might have been Patton, I believe, that tripped.
And Patton's actually been getting the majority of the reps up to this point, even though Deshaun White is one of the leading rushers here. So I think what the Long Beach Vikings are doing is, like we were talking about, they're having success with their, I guess you call them their backup, so they're going to keep running it with him, and so they have another reason to switch it up.
So now in a 2nd down and 11 off of the loss of 1, ball placed at the 38-yard line of the Raiders, inside Raider territory. 1:15 left in the first quarter of play. Single back set. Drops back to pass. Pressure is coming. He has to run away from it. That's Bernardi on the pressure. Passes intended for number 2, Jonathan Bonds. There will be a penalty flag thrown as the pass falls incomplete on the play.
And I saw number 22, DJ Turner. I don't know if it's on the quarterback based on where it was thrown, but it looked like he may have gone near the head in terms of his almost tackle against Murphy on that play. So we'll see what this flag is about. Oh, no.
An eligible receiver downfield. Okay.
So they are going to repeat the down. But Dylan Chong did a spectacular job of knocking that ball out as soon as it was in the hands of Jonathan Bonds, who is a top 2 leading receiver for the Vikings. So what they're doing so far is Moorpark is shutting down their leading options. And what's that doing? That's causing problems all over for Long Beach.
So now they're set up with a 2nd down and 16 off the repeat of the down. Murphy dropping back to pass, throws it off his back foot for the screen play, and Moorpark was all over it. Antoine Wynn coming up with the tackle, setting up a long 3rd down.
He saw that screen from a mile away, and he executed it perfectly. Great form tackle.
You heard the entire sideline almost yelled screen on the play. It's essential to see the depth of Moorpark's defense as well, because we talk about Ivory Jackson and Drew Mathis, but all these other guys have had instrumental roles for this team this year, including Wynn.
Exactly. Antoine Wynn has come up with some great plays throughout this season. There will be a timeout on the field, a 3rd down and 19 coming up. While we do have a little bit of break in the action, we're going to thank a few more of our sponsors. Can't do without our sponsors, so thank you very much for supporting Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. They're the game sponsor and also all of our show sponsor. Corner Bakery Cafe in the Simi Town Center. Proud to support Moorpark College football for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. Corner Bakery Cafe. Mercedes-Benz of Thousand Oaks. As a member of the Silver Star Automotive Group, Mercedes-Benz of Thousand Oaks has proudly served Moorpark and the surrounding area since 1982. Nationwide, our hearts belong to the Raiders. Putting the needs of local communities first isn't just our key to success, it's at the heart of everything we do. Let's talk today with Bill Saunders. Go Raiders from Nationwide. Now we're back with the action. Just about 31 seconds left in the duration of this first quarter of play. 3-0 lead for the Raiders as Long Beach City College has a 3rd down and 19 from the 46-yard line. Pressure is coming, and everybody is there from the left side. Wow, coming up with the sack.
I think that was number...
Antoine Wynn for number 24 for the Moorpark Raiders led that rush.
I think it was number 18. Was it D'Arienzo? I thought I saw number 18.
He was in there as well, yeah,
down.
but Antoine Wynn came down with the tackle. I think you got to give everyone a piece of the sack right there. That was a great job. We were talking about the blitz packages earlier and how they need to continue to pursue that, and, I mean, once again, it comes up, I mean, it's a 4th and 32. I think that's the longest the Moorpark defense has ever pinned an opposing team this part in the year.
And with that, the Vikings are going to be set up with a long 4th down. Looks to be a 4th down and 33 actually. And right now we do have the end of the first quarter of action. Still a 3-0 lead for the Raiders over the Long Beach City College Vikings. This is your coverage of Moorpark College football here on the Moorpark Raider live stream for the home regular season finale. It's sophomore night. It's the night to be able to recognize Tamakas, teaching men of color advocates here at Moorpark College. And for the veterans, we're going to have a few interviews at halftime, including Laura Mullen from DCH Auto Group. She'll be with us. And then we are also hopefully going to be able to interview some people from Tamakas, such as Tim Loomis and Perry Martin, who are advisors here at Moorpark College, instructors. So it's going to be a great time. Make sure that you stay tuned with us halftime and for the rest of the game. But now we're back with second quarter action, setting up for a punt for Long Beach City College.
And you hear some of the sideline yelling right now. Justin pointed out earlier how, I mean, the sideline can really be the 12th man on the field. We talk about yelling for screens, ball, fumble.
Quick thing, they're actually setting up. They're not at the right position. They're setting up for a 4th down and 23 when it should be a 4th down and 33. They didn't have the ball in the right spot, it didn't look like.
Which team are you talking about, Ryan? Moorpark or
for Long Beach City College, they were set up with a 4th down and 33, but with the ball positioning, it was a 4th down and 23 that they were setting up. I don't think that the ball was placed in the right area, or at least the chains were not placed in the right position, but still, besides that fact, Vinny Corso was able to get the reception because they were about 20 yards behind the original line of scrimmage. When they punted it, they were only 10 yards or a little bit further than 10 yards.
Well, and that ultimately Moorpark may not have the field position they should have or should have been awarded due to their sack.
Exactly, and now on the 1st down and 10, it's going to be a pitch to Archibald. Archibald is going to be dropped down at the line of scrimmage. Still, referees, obviously, they might have been able to see something down on the field that we didn't, or the chains just weren't in the right place. Not blaming anybody on that, but it was just interesting to see that it was a 4th and 33, but they were punting it from a 4th and 23 with the chain position.
Yeah, and that can have a huge outcome on how this drive goes. I mean, if they stop the drive within 5 to 10 yards of scoring, that could be because of that chain stuff.
Now Smith, he's going to pitch it forward. That's going to be a forward pass since it was a forward pitch basically, and that's going to be to Will Boucher, who's going to get a loss of 1. So that's going to count as a pass attempt and a pass completion. And that was a triple option right there. And the reason why triple options are a little bit more, they're a lot harder to execute is because you essentially almost lose a blocker in the fact that you don't have 2 running backs or wide receiver, tight end running next to you, 3 people running together, and ultimately, you're all right next to each other. You're too bunched up for it to work. So a 3rd down and 11 coming up from their own 24-yard line. Smith has to throw kind of off his back foot. Intended receiver was Sardi, as it's going to be a pass breakup.
And that was Jack Genova. Sorry about that, folks. Surprisingly enough, Jack Genova is actually the leading tackler here for the Long Beach Vikings, and he's a corner. 34 tackles on the year. Jack Genova is the leading tackler as a corner for the Vikings.
Interestingly enough.
Thank you, Justin. Interestingly.
I'd like to see Smith do some design QB runs a little bit more. We've seen him roll out, but last week we saw him run the ball with some QB sneaks and stuff like that, and some improvised runs as well.
Going for a punt on a 4th down and 11. They went for a punt block, as the number 1 was back to receive it, Victor Bates. As it does go out of bounds, they're going to say it goes out of the 38-yard line, so the Vikings will be able to take over for a 62-yard field.
We have seen a lot of success tonight in the run game from the Moorpark Raiders, and I think a large part of that is because, like I just talked about earlier with Jack Genova, him along with 3 others, the top 4 leading tacklers for the Vikings defense are all in the secondary. That means that just shows statistically that a lot of these runs are getting through the interior. And tonight we've seen Moorpark have a lot more success with that as well.
So now in the pistol once again is Murphy on the 1st down and 10. Ball at the 38-yard line. Going to hand it off. He's going to be stopped for a loss. They're going to say he just got back to the line of scrimmage, at least from the line judge.
I think that was Sean Leupola on the stop.
There's just about 13 minutes left in the first half, second quarter of action. A 3-0 lead for the Raiders. And Long Beach City College has the football on a 2nd down and 10 from their own 38. Fake handoff. Murphy draws back to pass. Only a 3-man rush as he's able to hit his man, able to get a first down and a little more. Stopped inside Raider territory. That was number 2 on the reception for Long Beach City College, Jonathan Bonds.
And with that punt, it set up great field position for the Vikings, and now they're in plus territory. Look for Murphy maybe to use his legs a little bit more now.
And actually, correction, that was number 8, Milshawn Lathan, who's now on the right side, is on a 1st down and 10. They were able to get about 4 yards on the gain.
I think that was Bowen on the carry there. They've used him even more so now than, not Pierre Robinson because he is injured, but who's the other one?
Tayshaun White.
Yeah, Tayshaun White.
A handoff. That's Patton. Patton able to get a first down off of the 2nd down and 6.
And along with Tayshaun White, also to Patton, who's stepped up in his role tonight as he's getting a lot more reps than he has the entire year.
Hurry-up offense that both teams are running right now with 12:05 left in the half. Another handoff to Patton, and it seems like Mike Anthony Monet and company were there for the tackle. Looks to be a gain of 1, if any.
And hurry-up offenses are so effective if they ran correctly because, for one, you keep your offense on there, you win the time of possession, and you drive down defenses.
Well, and we talked about the running backs. If there's a silver lining,
On a 2nd down and 9, it's going to be a fake handoff. Murphy takes it himself on the left side, a stiff arm, able to get the first down inside the 15.
if there's a silver lining, it means you're getting guys reps you won't normally see so that the coaching staff can see his skill set as well. On that run, Murphy has shown off his legs a lot, something we've discussed also in the pregame.
3 first downs on this drive alone. They have yet to have a drive with no first downs. Quick fact, the 4th drive, the last drive for Moorpark, was the first drive with no first downs in this game as they handed off straight up the middle. That was number 5 that was on the carry. That's Bowen, Mason Bowen.
And Murphy up to this point has definitely showed why he deserves to be the starter. He got his first time playing last week just against Baker.
That's 2nd down and 5, 11 minutes left in the contest, and the Raiders bring him back for a 4-yard loss.
Like I was saying, his last game was actually his first time getting any real playing time, and that was against Bakersfield, and they only lost 22-17.
So now that's going to be setting up a 3rd down and 9 from the 10-yard line. But as I was mentioning, that last drive for the Moorpark Raiders, their 4th drive of the game, was the only drive that any team did not get a first down. The first time that the Raiders did that, and it was the only time this game that that team did not get a first down on the drive. So both offenses are pushing forward down the field. The pressure is coming, evading the sack from Antoine Wynn. Murphy rolling on the left side, makes some nice moves. Wow, my oh my, sweet cherry pie. I don't know how he entered the end zone. It's going to be a touchdown, Vikings.
Murphy's so elusive, just like Smith, able to break the sack, cut it upfield, and make one nice clean cut to put up the Vikings by 3.
And if you're Moorpark and Antoine Wynn, you need to wrap up because you were unimpeded to the QB, which means you need to be able to make that tackle and not let him elude your grasp.
Exactly. Wynn was right there. It looked like he had it wrapped up before Murphy was just able to sneak out of there. PAT attempt is up, and it's good. We have a 7-3 lead. The Vikings over the Raiders. A close game right now as they had 3 first downs on the drive. They went 62 yards and finished it off with a 10-yard rushing touchdown by Murphy.
If you're Moorpark here, my guess is it will still be Smith at QB. There probably will be no change there. So look for him to run the ball a little bit more, use his legs. He's completed some passes to this point, but I want to see more from Tilley as well. I mean, we talked about how he has been the focal point of the run attack and done very well to this point.
And he has done very well. He's same height as Archibald, but 20 more pounds on him. Wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that is muscle as well.
I'm also interested to see for Long Beach if Drake Peabody does get into this game. We haven't seen him yet to this point.
I think one reason why, too, Tilly, has so much more muscle is because you got to remember he originally was a linebacker, and that's one reason why he runs so heavy. I mean, he's constantly hitting. Now he's the one getting hit.
A little bit of a pooch kick as is recovered by the 20-yard line. That's Vinny Corso getting some room on the left side, blocking by Boucher, runs right into the defense. There's going to be a penalty flag thrown as he gets out at about the 37-yard line.
And Corso, primarily to this point, has been used for returns. We haven't seen much of him in the receiving game, but maybe we will see more on this drive. But he is lethal if you give him the ball. So
offsides on the kicking team, a late flag. It's going to be holding against the receiving team. Actually, that was another flag that was thrown previously, and then that late flag was actually thrown at the correct time for holding penalty for Moorpark. So both those penalties offset, and we're getting another kickoff. I don't know if I was just thinking this, but it seemed like they did not want to kick it to Peterson or Corso. That's why they shortened it a little bit, almost going for a pooch kick, but it went a little too far so Corso could be able to get it. It seemed like they didn't want to kick it to him, though.
Exactly. They're respecting their returners there. Both of these guys are so deadly with the ball in their hands, and both have great hands. I mean, did you see how close that ball came to touching the ground when Corso got it? I mean, he's got great hands, so you put it anywhere in his vicinity, either one of these guys are going to take it back.
And one reason for a pooch kick is to not let Corso get in stride as he's running. So
still just above 10 minutes left. They go for the kick once again. It's recovered by Vinny Corso at his own 16-yard line. Corso, some blocking in front of him. Past the 30, pushes the pile forward. They're going to say that he is brought down at about the 33-yard line.
And that's still a nice, decent return, setting your offense up once again with great field position. Peterson, Corso, they've done a great job in the return game this year, giving their offense manageable and actually rather great field position to start most of these drives off. Most of the time we see the Moorpark Raiders over by the 30, 35. I mean, to start the game, they're over there by the 44. So they do an excellent job of setting them up nice.
So first down and 10 for the Raiders. Archibald is in motion. Is going to toss it deep down the field. He has a man open, a little underthrown, but it looks to be caught by Curtis Collier. A first down, Raiders.
Wonderful job by Smith right there. He took a shot as he threw the football, and there's a flag in the backfield, which probably means it could be roughing the passer here.
Yeah, we have to hold up just a few moments. There was a penalty flag thrown. It is going to be roughing the passer, as Justin was alluding to. So a big first down for the Raiders.
Great adjustment by the wide receiver, too. The ball was a little underthrown. He stayed with it and was able to keep his concentration.
And Curtis Coolard, as you said earlier, Justin, is the leading receiver here for the Moorpark Raiders, and he's definitely stepped up into that role. This is his sophomore year now. At the end of last year, we saw him start to catch some stride, a couple of touchdowns. And coming into this year, he's definitely stepped up as that X factor. I mean, he can catch the ball where no one else can. He has great hops, great route running, and ultimately great hands. I mean, that was the way he was able to stay focused on that ball. Not few athletes can do that.
Coming into this year, he has 27 receptions for over 300 yards, 303 yards.
So off of that penalty and that first down catch from Colliard, we have a 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Smith on the option, takes it himself, doesn't pitch it, goes up the middle, and it looks like he's just able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And if you're Moorpark, you want to capitalize with a touchdown here. Based on that large pass with great amount of yardage, not saying it's a defeat to come away with a field goal, but when you have that kind of an exciting play, you definitely want to put 6 on the board.
And when they're knocking in red zone territory once again, they've only been in the end zone, in the red zone 18 times coming into this game. So when they're in there, they definitely need to make it a priority to score touchdowns.
2nd down and 11, a loss of 1 on the last play. Throwing it deep down the field, there's Vinny Corso in the end zone. It's going to fall incomplete. It looked like Corso came down with it, but the ball bobbled around, and it's going to be an incomplete pass as Smith had him in the end zone.
Smith on the money with that one, perfectly thrown just over the defender's reach. Corso just not able to come away with the grab.
And what referees look for is complete control of the ball when you come down to the ground. We must make that clear. Referees want complete control, surviving the ground, not letting the ball hit the ground and bobble.
And exactly, if it is bobbling and you hit the ground and then the ball hits it as well, it's most likely going to be incomplete pass unless you have 2 or 3 steps after the catch and it's fully recovered. So he did not have that, so a 3rd and 11 now coming up. At the 23, a must-snap. Smith gets on it, and he's going to be sacked for a big loss.
And that, well, that can happen in football, folks. You get a big play like that, and then some miscommunication can lead to a muff snap, and now you're pretty much out of field goal range. So
absolutely,
you're going to have to, if it is 4th down, you're going to have to punt.
And that was Jack Genova on the sack. One thing, it didn't help Smith because even if he recovered at the 40 and he tried to throw it down the field, he would have to do it off his back foot, and he'd have to throw it towards where a wide receiver is out of bounds. So,
and the reason for that is you must have a receiver in the area for it not to be intentional grounding.
And you have to
look for a quick punt.
Exactly, yeah, quick punt on a long 4th down. It's going to be recovered. Will Boucher and company coming up with the tackle. Curtis Colliard also there for the tackle.
And that's important because despite the tough way the offense finished that last drive, you're pinning the Vikings deep so that your defense doesn't feel like it might be, rushing or off its back foot or something like that.
And if you're the Moorpark Raiders, you're not going to be able to come away with a victory tonight if you have what just happened this last drive. I mean, you march all the way down the field. You have a huge catch by Couillard. You're knocking in red zone territory, and you have a muffed snap like that takes you all the way back to the 40. They have to fix those mental mistakes.
1st down and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Fake handoff, quarterback keeper. Murphy on the right side. Antoine Wynn finds him, tackles him. They're not going to call it tackling out of bounds because he was already attempting the tackle when he was inbounds, and he didn't bring him down or fall on him.
The other danger is a horse collar. You saw
yes.
how he tackled him, and it was up around the neck area. So you need to be careful not to draw a flag for a horse collar there.
That is a good point, Justin, as well, with where the tackle occurred. Just under 7.5 minutes left in this first half, 2nd quarter of action. 7-3 lead here for the Long Beach City College Vikings over the Moorpark College Raiders, as Moorpark Raiders were just outside of the red zone, and then a muff snap led to a punt. Murphy, fake handoff, tries to hit his man. That's number 1, the intended receiver, Victor Bates, but almost looked like it was thrown towards number 9, Jalen Turner of Moorpark, with the route he was running and how well he defended it.
Yeah, Jalen Turner pretty much ran the route for Bates right there. I don't know. Murphy was trying to force something that wasn't there. Jalen Turner definitely would have came away with the interception if he would have thrown it just a little bit closer into his target.
And Bates turned around as if there was some miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver there, almost as if he was running blocker instead of receiver for a run on that play.
3rd down and 4 now coming up from their own 21-yard line. Murphy launching it deep down the field. Intended receiver once again was Victor Bates, and is going to fall incomplete. Tavius James was there on the coverage, number 20.
And Ivory Jackson, great pressure on the inside right there, forcing Murphy to get rid of it right there, which is one reason why that ball was so inaccurate.
And one reason you may not have seen a flag there, I believe the referee signaled that it was uncatchable. They over their head, they can make a signal with their hand, which means that the receiver cannot physically be able to catch the ball regardless, which is a reason they may not be able to throw the flag there.
And that's a good point because
Bates was looking for.
Exactly, and it looked like it was about 5 yards overthrown. So now on the 4th down and 4, Vinny Corso, number 12, back to receive the punt. He didn't call for a fair catch, but it does take a bounce. He doesn't go for it. It's going to roll about to the 40-yard line, and that's where Moorpark Raiders are going to be taking over for their 6th drive of this contest with just under 7 minutes left to play in the first half, 6:51 to be exact.
Smith has had a very accurate arm to this point. He's been stepping into his throws pretty well, and even when he throws off of his back foot, he's not afraid to take a shot from the defensive line that's coming after him. So pretty gutsy play thus far from the quarterback.
And this is the first real game up to this point that we've seen Moorpark stick with one quarterback throughout.
So here on a 1st down and 10 at their own 40, Vinny Corso is the man in motion. He's going to hand it off to Tilley as Corso is the lead blocker. Tilley able to get about 3 on the carry, they're going to say.
And even though Tilley to start the year wasn't even mentioned as a running back. He has definitely taken over as the running back for tonight's game. We've seen Archibald in there a little bit as well, but they use him more for the passing running back. We've seen him do a couple of swing routes and wheel routes as well.
A 2nd down and 8 now coming up. That last drive for Long Beach City College with a 3-and-out and a punt. No first downs. That's their first time on having a drive where they were not able to get 1 first down. Both teams only have 1 drive where they were unable to get a first down, and that one just occurred for Long Beach City College. Will Boucher, Vinny Corso in motion. Now Will Boucher is in at fullback. Alex Tilley with the handoff. Able to get 2 on the carry as he got 2 on the previous carry, setting up a 3rd and 6. Just under 6 minutes left to play in this first half, 5:50 to be exact. 7-3 lead here for Long Beach City College over Moorpark. They're set up with a 3rd and 6 at their own 44-yard line.
Moorpark has definitely set up the run to develop the pass, too, we've seen thus far in the game.
Smith was in shotgun. A 4-man rush, able to get outside of the pocket. He has daylight in front of him, evades a shoelace tackle, and is going to step out of bounds at about the 44-yard line inside Viking territory.
Benefits of having Troy Smith showing up once again when there's no one he's able to hit. He's able to just cut right up the field and pick up another crucial first down for the Moorpark Raiders.
And that's what we talked about pregame. His ability to have improvised running can add so much to an offense that the defense may not be able to account for.
On the 1st down and 10, it's going to be another handoff to Tilley on the left side. Runs into his own blocker as he's going to be brought down for about a 5-yard gain on the play.
And you got to remember, too, the quarterback is the one player on the field from a defensive perspective that is not accounted for. So that basically means the quarterback is always left open unless, of course, they have a QB spy. In that case, they did not, and Smith was able to come up with that huge first down.
On that last play, Moorpark decided to go with a little bit of misdirection, almost handed it to the fullback, and then went to Tilley on the outside.
4:35 left in the first half. Smith in trouble. He's going to be brought down with a sack. That's number 26, Kai Kineshiro, heading it off with a plethora of Vikings taking him down.
That looked like a broken play. It looked like either Smith was trying to pass or hand it off.
It looked like a screen. He was trying to hit Vinny Corso, but the entire defensive line broke through.
But after that sack, set up with a 3rd down and 11, ball at the 48-yard line inside Viking territory. Just about 4 minutes left and counting in this first half of play. Smith against a 4-man rush. Correction, 5-man rush. He tosses it deep. It's intercepted. And it looks like it will be caught inbounds. It's going to be interception by Jordan Yancey.
Jordan Yancey, that's his 2nd interception of the night. He's playing spectacular. Now, he did have that early mistake with the PI we saw on one of the first drives for the Moorpark when the Moorpark Raiders were driving, but Yancey has definitely redeemed himself plus some tonight.
And if you're Smith, even though you take a shot, you don't want to get overzealous and throw it deep like that when you know you don't have a guy open. At that point, you try and throw it away or keep the play alive with your legs.
And it almost looked like Will Boucher was open. He just overthrew him.
And it was overthrown. It seemed like overthrown over 10 yards. And on a 1st down and 10, it's going to be a pitch to the left. A penalty flag is thrown as he's just able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And the saving grace on that interception a little bit is where he caught it in terms of the amount of yardage that the Vikings still have to go to get into the end zone.
It's going to be holding against the offense, repeating 1st down, 10-yard penalty coming up for the Vikings.
He caught it around the 23, I would say.
And that's right, Justin. I mean, you never want to throw an interception, but if you do, you definitely want to make sure it's far away from the line of scrimmage, and he definitely threw it about 40 yards down the field.
So it's now going to be a 1st down and 20. Ball is placed at their own 16-yard line inside their own red zone. Trips on the right side of the formation as Murphy feels the pressure. It's just going to be batted down. No interception, no fumble, but great job by the Raiders' pressure to set up a long 2nd down.
And Ivory Jackson playing outstanding this entire year. We talked about the bounce back from Texas Tech. he's just been a monster at the defensive line, at the defensive end position.
He's got 10 sacks, 16.5 tackles for loss on the year.
And I believe he's going to be accredited with 10.5 sacks after this game as Antoine Wynn and basically 20 other Raiders, it almost seemed like. Obviously not 20 players on the field, but it seemed like that many players was coming in for a sack. Empty backfield set on the long 2nd down and 20. It looked like he was not meaning to pass it there as number 8 had to adjust his route. Milshawn Lathan, intended receiver on the play.
And if Dylan Chong would have just turned his head just a little quicker, he might have been able to come away with that interception.
Well, it looked like Murphy was trying to lead him in with that pass a little bit.
It almost looked like Lathan wasn't even running the route to that spot. It almost looked like he was caught by surprise and had to adjust a little bit. But no matter that, almost looked like a false start on a 3rd down and 20. No penalty flags thrown. Murphy getting outside of the pocket, setting up a block for himself, getting close to the 1st down marker. And it looks like he's right around that marker. Going to look if he's just shy or not.
He does look to be pushed out maybe just a yard short. But Murphy, wow, man, when he is able to run the ball, he can do some serious damage.
And if you're Moorpark, you don't want to necessarily assume that if he's running up the sideline that he's going to go out of the sideline, out towards the sideline.
And they're going to give him the 1st down on that. Spectacular run.
Yeah, Murphy able to get a 20-yard run, to be exact. 1st down and 10 from their own 36-yard line.
That impacts the time of possession now, too, because as the clock ticks, it means Moorpark may not have another drive before half.
Just under 3 minutes left in the 1st half. A quick sweep route pass able to get completed.
That was Tayshawn White there. And the swing route is one of the most scary routes you can run as a player just because you're pretty much blindsided running straight into who knows what. Tayshawn White able to stay calm, make the reception, and still pick up a yard or 2.
Well, the reason is you're supposed to be expecting the pass. You're not looking upfield. You're looking to the side, which is a difference there in terms of running a vertical or a screen route.
You're blind to the defense.
Complete opposite of their hurry-up offenses. They're taking as much time off the clock as they can. 2:15 to be exact left in this half. Murphy feeling some pressure, gets outside of the pocket, throws on the run, finds his man for a wide-open pass and gets the 1st down. That's number 17, Patrick Lee, the receiver on the play.
And that was number 11 there, Lorenzo Bernardi, stopping that before it could have gone to the house.
Well, now the Vikings are in near field goal range in the very least. Big stop there, as you said. It could have gone to the house, so now look for Moorpark's D to try and capitalize on that. I think we got a timeout here.
What Moorpark's trying to do right now is they're trying to slow down the progression of the Vikings, almost similar to icing the kicker.
So now while we have a Moorpark College timeout, we have a break in the action with just about 2 minutes left in the half. We're going to thank a few more of our sponsors. We can't do without you here for the Moorpark College Raider live stream and Moorpark College Athletics. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Matera Design Consultant. For all of your design, layout, and production needs, contact Vince Matera at vmatera@earthlink.net at Matera Design Consultant. Los Robles Health System, 50 years of compassionate care. For more information, please call 877-888-5746 or visit losrobleshospital.com. Moorpark Country Club. Make a trip to Moorpark Country Club. While you're here, be sure to try our Sunday brunch at the Moorpark Country Club. Jersey Mike Subs, since 1956, supporting the community that supports us. Moorpark College Raider Athletics at Jersey Mike Subs, a sub above. Visit them at 1197, that's 1197 East Los Angeles Avenue in Simi Valley, and say hi to Rich Vitolo at Jersey Mike Subs. And thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We're now back with our game action as we have just about 2 minutes left in this 1st half. A 7-3 lead for Long Beach City College as the referees are discussing something down on the field right now as they're setting up for a 1st down and 10 at the 30.
Don't know if they're discussing the spot of the ball maybe, because that timeout did come, I believe, right after that big pass completion.
Exactly. It looks like they're calling their own time. So while we do have another break in the action, we're going to continue to thank our sponsors. Thank you very much for sponsoring us here at Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. Jan's Marketplace. Cheers to a successful season. Proudly supporting Moorpark College Athletics. Visit us on Facebook or at jansmarketplace.net for upcoming events and money-saving offers. The Hat Restaurant in Simi Valley since 1951. 67 years of serving the world-famous pastrami, burgers, dogs, chili. Open 7 days from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Visit them at www.thehat.com. Ladin Auto Group, family-owned and operated for over 45 years. Always close to home. Located in the Thousand Oaks Auto Mall. Go Raiders! Best wishes for a great year at Ladin, Hyundai, and Subaru. And Stonefire Grill, where community is served. Proudly supporting Moorpark College Athletics at Stonefire Grill for all your catering needs. Call them at 855-SFG to go or order at order.stonefiregrill.com. Go Raiders! And Luminary Photo, weddings, events, headshots, families, and seniors. Check out luminaryphoto.com or call 805-587-7611. That's Luminary Photo. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We can't do without you here on the live stream and at Moorpark College Athletics. The referees were discussing it a little bit. So you were right, Justin. They were looking at where the ball was going to be spotted after the deep pass, as it will be a first down and 10 from the 35 instead of the 30-yard line. Great to see the referees making sure they get it right in the game. That's always good to see. As going back, fake handoff on a first and 10. Antoine Wynn almost coming up with sack. Correction, that was DJ Turner. Able to get the pass off, however. That was number 8, the receiver on the play. That was Milshawn Lathan getting a first down on the play.
And Moorpark's defensive line is doing a great job of creating pressure for Murphy, but they're not doing such a good job of finishing the play. What I mean by that is sacking him.
3 first downs on this drive alone. Correction, on a first down and 10, it's a handoff. Able to get to the right side, knocked out of bounds. That was number 3 on the carry for Long Beach City College.
And Nick, as you alluded to, they're having trouble wrapping up and tackling and finishing plays.
As now setting up for a second down. It looks to be about a second down and 6. Correction, second down and 7. Ball at the 19-yard line. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Going to get about 4 on the play. Still moving forward slightly. It's going to be a third down and 4 coming up now for the Vikings with just about 1:15 left in the first half. So now setting up for the third down and 4, dropping back to pass. Throwing it deep down the field, able to get a receiver open down the middle. That was Lathan once again on the reception, getting another first down, their 4th first down of this drive alone on the 6th drive of the game.
And what is important to note that they have 3 timeouts. Actually, they have just taken one now. Underneath a minute to go here. They have the luxury to get in. They have more time with 55 seconds.
Yeah, and I think something that should be noted, too, is how well they are in the red zone. 71% of the time that they are in the red zone, they score. And 55% of the time that they're in the red zone, they're coming away with touchdowns. So just a little bit more than 50%, they're able to finish drives.
So really, in terms of their stats, if they convert a little bit better on third down and they continue that clip of trying to get in the end zone at least 55% of the time and scores, as you said, I believe 71%.
Yep, that's correct.
The time. If they up their third down percentage, that could make for an even more lethal team.
So now Long Beach City College setting up with a first down and goal. The ball is placed at the 4-yard line, so first down and goal at the 4. Knocking on the door of the end zone right now, trying to get an answer. Trips on the left side, empty backfield set, 2 receivers out to the right with Murphy in the shotgun. 55 seconds left in this first half. Murphy takes it himself straight to the middle. Looks to be enough for the end zone, and it will be a touchdown, Vikings. So it will be a touchdown. This is his second rushing touchdown of the game. A 10-yard rush off of the 4th drive, which was a few drives ago for Long Beach City College. He had a 10-yard rushing touchdown. And then now on this drive, he had a 4-yard rushing touchdown.
This is playing out how all the other Moorpark games have played out this far in the season. I mean, they start off hot. They score first. They have a shutout in the first quarter, which they haven't done up to that point in the year.
Now with the PAT, the attempt is up, but it's no good. It's going to be a 13-3 lead for the Long Beach City College Vikings over the Moorpark College Raiders.
Like I was saying, you know, they go up by 3, they hold them out for the first quarter, and then they let them back into the game like this, and they take the lead. And let's also not forget that the Vikings will receive to start the second half. So Moorpark has to work on maintaining that energy and playing style throughout the game and not losing it as the game progresses.
It's also important to note that a few more seconds have been added to the clock as they had the clock running when the Vikings scored. So they added about 5 more seconds or so for this upcoming drive for Moorpark.
Just a quick note, Jonathan Murphy, number 4, the starting quarterback. So far this season, he has 2 rushing touchdowns total. He has 19 rushes for 104 rushing yards. So now he's up to 4 rushing touchdowns, which, interestingly enough, that ties him for the highest rushing touchdown total for Long Beach City College this season. It ties him with Drake Peabody, the other quarterback, and Pierre Robinson, all with 4 rushing touchdowns. So Murphy, have yourself a night. As Vinny Corso gets the kick return. He's bringing it up, going middle after starting on the right side, and gets to the 34-yard line.
And if you're Moorpark, what you're looking to do is get into field goal range and get at least 3 on the board with about 41.9 left. You have, if I see correctly, 1 timeout.
That is correct.
If that is correct, then the hurry-up offense may need to be in order because you don't have those 2 extra that you might want to use. Look for out routes to the sideline as well.
And you got to think about they're not even going to get the ball to start the second half.
Right.
So this is the last opportunity they're going to get for a while.
Now on a 1st down and 10. Here's Smith rolling out of the pocket, trying to hit Kyle Peterson. That might have actually been good that he did not catch the football because he could have possibly been tackled in bounds.
Not only tackled in bounds, but the way that play usually goes means you'd want to turn upfield and start to run. So obviously his mindset needs to be to get out of bounds, but if you have a lapse in that and you think about running upfield, you waste more time off the clock.
So now 35 seconds left. If you want to be technical, 35.6 seconds left in the first half. Archibald motions outside. Empty backfield. They go for a wide receiver screen to Curtis Colliard, and it actually works. He seems to be tackled inbounds, though, for a 1st down.
And kind of a weird play call, especially thinking about the field position that they have to go to score. But, I mean, if it works, it works. And right there, they're able to pick up a nice chunk of yards and a 1st down.
Well, part of that may be about saving that timeout for later in the drive for a field goal kick.
And a 1st down, the clock will stop until the ball is placed as Smith is looking towards Colliard once again. He tries to do something in the middle of the field, but he's going to be tackled prior to the 1st down marker and inside, so the clock should continue. They're actually going to call a timeout, though.
You got to get outside right there. You only have 1 timeout. You need to know what you have right now, and they only had 1 timeout right there. Not the best decision to try and cut upfield. I understand what he was trying to do. They was trying to pick up the 1st down and help his team out. But that's going to now burn their last timeout. They're going to have really 1 more play before they have to spike it. And if they're in field goal range, then kick a field goal.
Yeah, what Collier, like you said, has to realize is they're going for 3 points, not necessarily 6 or even getting 1st downs. It's about conserving clock and just moving downfield. So even if you pick up 6, 7 getting out of bounds, the point is to maintain the clock and have short yardage situations that you can keep going to.
And what I would say is you're at the 44-yard line. You at least need to get to the 30-yard line. It's 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage where the kicker is going to kick it from. So if you're placed at the 30-yard line, the ball is going to be kicked from the 37, which means that's a 47-yard field goal, which is in Riley Garrett's range, but you can't really get further back than the 30. You got to you got to at least get to the 30-yard line to be able to have a chance at the field goal kick, I assume.
I think we should note that I believe Riley Garrett's long is 49 yards. Is that correct?
Yes, that is his career long and the long for the season. He says he could kick a 50-yarder in practice off a tee, so we'll have to see if that's what he can do in a game if that comes up. Right now is a 2nd down and 1. Men in motion are Corso and Colliard as trips on the left side, nobody on the right. Tight end is in. Single back set. I kind of heard a Warrior scream out of one of the players on the field. As Smith, he's able to find Vinny Corso, 6.5 seconds left in the first half. And look where they're spotted. They're spotted at the 33-yard line. If they kick a field goal now, it's a 50-yarder.
I believe what the player might have been screaming was pass. I think that's what I heard. Right near the fringe of Riley's field goal range. They have 6.5. Do they go for another out route play? Try and squeeze a couple more yards?
I would just say, they're actually going to be going for it. Smith, a quick pass to Will Boucher. He gets tackled. Looks like he's out of bounds. And the clock will stop for 3 seconds. Lucky play right there for the Raiders as there's a penalty flag thrown.
And not sure. And another one has come out.
Multiple penalty flags, as you said. One thing that is great, the referees did step in right away to make sure things did not escalate. Even the players themselves, for everybody that was a little heated, they pushed them off to the sides, and the coaching staff is taking control of their players, so that's good to see that everybody, the leaders, are taking control of this situation.
The coaching staff was being very vocal to their players to make sure they did stay calm.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I could even hear on this side, get off the field, that they were yelling.
Okay.
To make sure their players are staying off the field and making sure nothing escalates.
Well, and what's important is this is the end of the half, which means you don't want to go into the half with these heated tensions. Mm-hmm. You want to focus on the game plan. You want to focus on what you've ran.
Yep. Hands to the face, personal foul against the offense. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the offense as well.
I mean, and that's great that, they're able to calm down the situation, but let's also not take away the fact that now they're out of field goal range.
Yes.
And these mental mistakes are why Moorpark has, like we talked about, over 100 yards a game in penalties. They cannot afford to do these, especially with 3 seconds left in the game, in field goal range, and now you're basically going for a Hail Mary.
Now,
yes.
The hands to the face, was that on the defense?
That was actually on the offense.
Okay, it was on the offense.
Both of them were, yeah.
Because I was going to say, if it was on the defense, I believe they would have been offset. That's correct. So that's why I wasn't sure why both penalties were assessed. But now I realize that they were both obviously on the offensive side.
It looks like they're just going to take a knee.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to victory-style formation.
And all that momentum has been zapped right out the window because of that penalty call.
So with that, 2 first downs on that drive. What are your last thoughts of the first half, guys?
First off, they have to stop Murphy, pardon me. I mean, he just showed so much tonight. Up to this point, he is so elusive. He's fast. Of course he can throw it, but he's so fast. And when he gets out of the pocket, Moorpark is doing a great job of causing pressure, but they're not doing a great job of finishing these plays. I mean, they're getting pressure on him, but then he's able to avoid it, evade it, and pick up first down. So they have to work on that.
Finishing drives and negating these penalties, like we said at the end of the half, that's on offense. That is the key to the rest of the game for me.
Absolutely, yeah. They need to work on, these penalties. I mean, right now they could have came in with another 3 points potentially, but unable to do so just because of a couple mental mistakes. So if they want to win this game second half, they have to make adjustments.
And some of those adjustments need to be making sure they get the ball downfield a little more.
So as that's going to end our first half of play. We have a 13-3 lead for Long Beach City College over the Moorpark Raiders. Make sure you stay tuned with us during that Raider halftime show, as we're going to have a few interviews with Tamakas and also DCH Auto Group. So make sure that you stay tuned with that here on the Moorpark Raider live stream.
During Veterans Week 2018, this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. Tonight, our Veterans Center Associated students, Moorpark College Athletics, and their Captain's Council would like to salute to America's heroes by celebrating our military members, as well as our teaching men of color advocates and all U.S. military veterans that serve our community proud. Anyone with us tonight who has served in the armed forces, please stand to be recognized for your service. Fans, please join me in thanking these men and women here tonight that sacrificed for our nation's freedom and way of life. Thank you, veterans, for your service to America. At this time, will everyone please stand and remove your caps to honor America as our own Moorpark College student, Betty Jean Hanna, sings the Moorpark College tradition of God Bless America. Thank you so much, Betty Jean Hanna. At this time, we would like to welcome Terry Martin for a few words.
First of all, on behalf of the President and all of the staff, faculty, and members of the Moorpark College and all the stakeholders in the community, we really appreciate this opportunity to recognize our heroes, our veterans, those folks that have served. Earlier we had a chance to recognize those teaching men of color advocates, those people that are intentionally trying to make a difference to close the opportunity gap, as well as those folks that have given their lives, their time, their commitment, and the dedication to serve to keep this nation free. Without living in a nation where there's a possibility for you to recognize and to strive towards your full potential, we would not recognize how important freedom truly is. So I appreciate the honor that's been bestowed upon me today to recognize these veterans. And for someone like me that spent 21 years of service and retired, that I can watch my own children grow up to be strong and honorable, good people, again, I'd like to thank you. So we're going to continue by awarding these veterans just a token of our appreciation.
Professor Sergeant Major retired, Perry Martin. Bronze Star recipient, Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan. Legion of Merit recipient after 21 years of service. Successfully transitioned to California civilian life despite its unique California hurdles. Tim Loomis, 6 years U.S. Army Reserve, infantry soldier. Retired from Oxnard, PP. LJ instructor, CJ. Zachary S. Barcliffe, Marine Corps veteran. President, Moorpark College Veterans Alliance. Patrick Cermenio, Master at Arms, 2nd Class, U.S. Navy. Ryan Ellis Byers, Steelworker, 2nd Class, United States Navy. Stephen Shaw, U.S. Army, Combat Engineer for 3 years. 1 tour in Iraq, Psychology major, sophomore at Moorpark College. Alexander Ackerman, U.S. Army Specialist, 4 years. Mark Larson, Commander VFW, Post 10049. And finally, let's honor Fausto Galvan, color guard. Please join me in honoring all of our veterans.
And finally, again, on behalf of the Moorpark leadership, the Moorpark campus, the community, I ask that more than just say to a veteran that I appreciate your service. I ask that you show them that you appreciate their service by taking the time out and shaking their hand and just taking a couple of minutes and learning their story and finding out what freedom truly means to them and see the sacrifices that they've made. And again, we thank you for coming out, supporting us, and the continued support we appreciate. So thank you so very much. Thank you to the folks that put this together, John Tommy of the Veterans Resource Center, Ashley LaJoy, our Vice President, the group, all of the folks that made this happen. This is a tremendous privilege, and again, this extrinsic recognition and showing you that we truly appreciate what you do, and thank you so very much. Go Moorpark.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Raider Halftime Report, sponsored by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. My name is Ryan Ketchum, play-by-play commentator, and I have two special guests from DCH Auto Group that's joining us. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Mullen. I handle marketing and community relations for the DCH Auto Group.
And I'm Anna Sealstorff from DCH Lexus of Oxnard, and I'm also marketing and community relations.
So both of you being here, first of all, thank you very much for joining us here
Our
on the
pleasure.
Halftime Show. Obviously, you've been a sponsor with us for a long time. So how has the relationship kind of been with Moorpark College throughout the years? We were speaking off camera about 5 years being a sponsor of Moorpark College. So how has the relationship been?
It's been really great for us. We have our platform vice president's family actually lives here in Moorpark, and so we have a great foundation here in the community. And we have developed a relationship with the athletic department and are really excited about what's happening here and the students, and just getting an opportunity to invest back in them, into the football team specifically, and to be able to have a presence here has been really good for us, a really positive experience. We all have children and have students that live and work and play in all of these areas, and so I know that this university is actually also used for a lot of our high school football teams, and so we just really appreciate the relationship that Moorpark College has developed with the community as well. So it's been really good for us.
And with Moorpark College also developing a relationship with the community, how have you been able to develop a relationship with the community? Obviously, you also from being from DCH Lexus of Oxnard. How has it been building that relationship with the community and just getting that standing that they know that DCH Auto Group is with them?
Yes, we've been Moorpark Chamber members for 2 years now, and we've been helping out and sponsored a lot of the events that they do for Moorpark Chamber of Commerce. So we're very active in the community.
Now, I know that you mentioned that Moorpark College is very active in the community. They have Grace Brother in high school that plays here every single Friday night for home games, and then also Moorpark College Athletics playing here at Griffin Stadium. But one thing that Moorpark College, at least speaking to the coaching staff and also speaking to everybody with the athletic program, is they try to recruit in-state, but not just in-state, in this specific area, in the Ventura County and the surrounding areas. So with being a sponsor of someone that represents the community so well, how does that feel knowing that they're on the same page as you?
You know, it's been really great for us. Anna and I were speaking earlier what a great opportunity this is at the community college experience to be able to have our students have a place that they know that they can go that's comfortable, that's close to home, with still providing that really excellent education. And so we've been really grateful to have something like this here. And then from here, our students are able to go to any of the local universities, any of the universities in Southern California with a really good foundation under their belt. And so we really appreciate that being something that's right here and offered at such a high level of expertise. So we do appreciate the staff and the faculty that work so hard to make this a really good place for us to send our students.
That's great, and as you mentioned, one of the great community colleges in the nation. We have an Eden program, we have a great nursing program, automobiles, everything is here at Moorpark College. They are currently ranked #1 in California in academics, #4 in the nation in academics, so they have a great program. This football team, they're the only team in California to have a 3.0 GPA or higher this season, so it's just great that they're also able to do that. But with DCH Auto Group, how is it with the students? Are you able to get a lot of the Moorpark College students or surrounding students to be able to come a part of your community as well and working for DCH Auto Group and your surrounding locations?
We do. We have a really great relationship as far as internship programs, summer staff, where we have students come in and work with us. Obviously, we are here to help students when they're trying to purchase their first car and service the cars that they're already in. And so it's been a full circle situation for us, which is something that we're always looking for, to have students that have that experience, and Moorpark College has been a great partner in that for us.
And how is it kind of having that experience? You're able to see these young kids getting their first cars, then kind of going through life a little bit by being 5 years as a sponsor. How is that kind of seeing them grow a little bit, almost like your kid in a sense?
Right, yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
And we post some of the photos too. We always post the photos with the hashtag of Moorpark, especially when we get customers that are from Moorpark. And we're really excited, especially if it's their first cars.
Right. With the social media options that we have these days, it's been really great for us to be able to kind of tie in with them and let them feel, like we're a part of their family as well.
Definitely. Well, that's great. Well, we thank you, both of you, for joining us here on the Raider Halftime Show. Thank you for sponsoring us. We can't do it without you, so thank you very much to also joining us here and be able to display a little bit about DCH Auto Group. So make sure that you stay in tune with us here on the Raider Halftime Show. DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness, is the main sponsor, and we're going to be having another interview with Tamaka's Teaching Men of Color. And we're going to be having them up here to be able to display their thoughts as well. So make sure that you stay tuned here on the Raider Halftime Show on the Moorpark Raider live stream.
Thank you.
From opposite ends of the field, when the announcer, "That's me," says go, they will roll the inflatable tire to the 50-yard line. The first one to reach the 50-yard line wins. The consolation contestant will win an oil change gift card for participating Big Brand Big Tire giveaway. Here we go. On your marks. Get set. Go! And they're both off to a great start. Looks pretty even. Oh, look at those face a little bit. We've got both on the 20. Right on the 30. Oh, we went sideways on it. They're carrying it. And it's not going to work. We've got the north end zone with the win. Congratulations on your 4 brand new tires from Big Brand Tire. Big Brand Tire and Service is a proud corporate partner of Moorpark College Athletics. Big means go. Great job, guys. is going to be the Eat It, Set It, Knock It Down contest, brought on and sponsored by LBCC Bowl and Rock and Roll Pizza. 2 contestants are going to start on the 40-yard line. They will each have to eat a small blood slice of pizza, and then they will have to run to the 50 and set up the 6 bowling pins that will be lying on the ground. The pins must be set up on the flat board directly on the black circles. The contestants then have to run back to the 40. They have to grab a bowling ball and roll it granny style towards the pins they set up. The first person to knock down at least 1 pin will win the contest. If they miss on the first roll, they have 1 more chance for the second roll. The winner will win a bowling party pass, which includes 1 lane, 2 hours of bowling, shoe rental, 1 pitcher of soft drink, and 1 large cheese pizza up to 6 people. Again, this is sponsored by Harley's and Rock and Roll Pizza. It's a value package over $125. Are you ready? Get set, go! They've eaten their pizza, now we're going to go run and set them up. Here they go. They're both there at the same time, setting up the pins. They're setting them up. Getting close and heading back. Here we go, heading back to the 40. Here they go. Got to roll it granny style. And there's the first roll. Oh, just a little bit short. Go get it, do it again. Hurry up, hurry, hurry, hurry. The second roll is off, no good. Rolling 1 more time, here we go. She rolls. Almost. And the second roll misses. Here she goes again, just to knock it down. She does it! Congratulations and thank you for participating in Harley's and Rock and Roll Pizza's Eat It Second Knock It Down Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an In-N-Out Burger giveaway promotion. If you purchase a copy of the Raiders Illustrated magazine, and it's signed by head football coach Mike Stewart on page number 4, you just won a free with our compliments to enjoy any burger, fries, and beverage. Please bring your signed program to the press box in Griffin Stadium to claim your prize. Thank you. Tonight, the U.S. Army will provide fans with the mini American flags of the main entrance to Griffin Stadium to honor our 6th annual Salute to Our American Heroes, Moorpark College veterans, and all military families in attendance tonight. Stop by the corporate booth and pick up some literature where they can offer. If mediocre jobs or mundane cubicles aren't your style, considering kickstarting your career with a company like no other. The U.S. Army CEO just got started here. They'll have astronauts and software engineers. At this company, honor is earned and respect is won. So when you leave Griffin Stadium tonight, instead of looking for jobs, jobs will be looking for you. Stop by and say hello to Sergeant First Class Andrew Lee and his recruiting team at U.S. Army.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Moorpark Raider live stream here for your coverage of Moorpark College football. the Moorpark Raiders are down at the start of the second half. It's a score of 13-3 as Long Beach City College is up against the Moorpark Raiders. As you saw during halftime, myself, Ryan Ketchum, play-by-play commentator, Nick Federico and Justin Borsis, color commentator analyst, with myself, Ryan Ketchum, was able to interview a few people, some special guests from DCH Auto Group, and as they were speaking through that, we were going to have another interview with Tamakas, which is Teaching Men of Color Advocates, and we were unfortunately unable to get them in the press box to be able to interview them, but we are going to be displaying a few items about what they stand for throughout the duration of this game, so watch out for that. As Long Beach City College is going to be returning the opening kickoff of the second half. They get it down to about the 26-yard line, and that's where they are going to be taking over.
And we do have some halftime stats here that we can read for you. Smith has over 100 passing yards in the first half, 106 to be exact. But he has thrown 2 picks for Moorpark. Now, Murphy, he's 7 of 13 for 80 yards. So he's been efficient without throwing interceptions. So look for more of that right now.
And it seems like one thing that Murphy has been doing, he's been doing everything with his legs, as he does hand it off on a 1st down and 10. Ball from the 26-yard line, correction.
And that's right. That's a good point, Ryan. He actually is the leading rusher of the game. Jonathan Murphy is with 56 yards, on 9 attempts.
So now setting up for a 2nd down. It's going to be about a 2nd down and 7. Ball placed at their own 29-yard line. As he's in the pistol, trips on the right side of the formation. It's going to be a fake handoff, looking for the wide receiver screen, and Moorpark is all over it. Jalen Turner coming up on the tackle, where the receiver was number 17 of Long Beach City College, Patrick Lee.
And the physicality of the Moorpark defense coming into play right now with that diagnosed wide receiver screen.
You recognize a screen all the way through. Jalen Turner, one of the premier athletes for this Moorpark secondary, continues to do an exceptional job as the year progresses.
Now on the 3rd down, it's a 3rd down and 11, tossing it deep down the field. It looked like it was intended for 2 receivers. It was either Patrick Lee or Jonathan Bonds, but they were able to come up with the incomplete pass, setting up a 4th down and 11.
And a big first stop on this series by Moorpark's D. Able to get their offense the ball very quickly. They only took about a little over a minute and a half off the clock. So that is key now to set up Smith.
And on their first drive of this second half, they were unable to get a 1st down. Here comes the punt. It looks like it might have been slightly blocked by the Raiders, or it was just a short punt, but it looked like it was slightly blocked.
Moorpark starting out strong right away. This is something that we aren't too used to seeing, and maybe can change the outcome of the game, is Moorpark coming out in the second half and executing just like this at the 3 and out. And only a minute and a half off the clock. Offense is already getting the ball back with outstanding field position, going in on their own 35-yard line.
And what's going to be interesting is penalties. We at the half, if I'm reading this correctly, because it's a little bunched up here, Moorpark only has, I think, 1 penalty for, or I don't know if that stat is actually accurate, to be honest with you. 1 penalty for 25 yards, but
1st down and 10 from the 35. Lets it loose to Curtis Collier, but he drops it. Incomplete pass.
Just bounced right off his shoulder. Wasn't able to look it all the way in. It's good to see him bounce right back up, get right back to the huddle. Don't want to think about the play too long. Always have a short-term memory, especially when incidences like those happen.
But to finish off that point, to be able to cut down the penalties on this drive is key.
So now a 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Raiders. 13:25 left in the 3rd quarter. 13-3 lead for Long Beach City College. A handoff straight up the middle, able to only get a gain of 1 on the play.
And as this sets up a 3rd down, at the half they were 2 of 7, which is about 28%. So look, that will need to change this half for them to be able to have success going forward. That includes the deep balls we've seen over the course of this game.
Exactly. That will have to change, especially with a 3rd and 9. It seems like Moorpark has been faced with a lot of long 3rd down conversions, so that's something that's going to negatively affect them. As in the pistol, John match a pass for Smith. Smith rolls out of the pocket. He has some daylight in front of him, gets the first down and more. At least it looks like, yes, he will get the first down and more.
And now officially 3 for 8.
Troy Smith, once again, coming around the pocket. His wheels, I think in the first couple games we saw him, we thought, okay, he can run a little bit and he's a little elusive, but he's definitely showed tonight that he has some real speed, not just a little bit quicker than the rest of the quarterbacks. He has some serious speed, kind of like Murphy, and he can turn on the Jets with even the slightest hole.
Now with the first down and 10, coming off of the first down, it's going to be a fake pass. It was a handoff to St. Pierre. Great fake by Smith. I almost thought that he was throwing it to the right side.
He definitely sold it, and that's what you need to do. Just even though you're not always going to have the ball in your hand, whether you're running back, receiver, even QB, if you sell that fake, it gives you that much more success.
And
second and short, a 2nd down and 4, hands it off straight to the middle off of the I formation, and he looks to be about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. That's St. Pierre on the carry once again from a 2nd down and 4, now setting up a 3rd and 2.
And they've only been in the red zone in terms of scoring chances once. So this is a moment to capitalize. I'd like to commend this coaching staff, too, for sticking with Smith.
I formation once again, draws back to pass, throws it down the middle of St. Pierre. There will be a penalty flag. It looks to be a pass interference against the defense off of the 3rd and 2 from the 17.
And that should create a first down for the Moorpark Raiders, giving them a whole new set of drives as they're knocking and scoring.
And I'd like to elaborate on my point. What they saw last week in Smith, even in the loss, they are able to, in my opinion, yes, have the guts to stick with him because they like what they saw. And I commend them for.
It's going to be a holding penalty against the defense. It's going to be an automatic first down for Moorpark with the positioning that they were at. Just a quick note.
For having the wherewithal to go by eye and feel, not necessarily by stats.
And I think even if you went by stats, Troy Smith has been playing pretty well tonight. I know he hasn't had a touchdown to this point, but that can change right now.
It's going to be a handoff. Trying to get the room on the outside. That's Archibald. He is going to be knocked out of bounds right around the 5-yard line.
And it is crucial to come away with 7 here. You've only been able to come away with 3. You're coming off at the end of the half, having the Vikings score on you, and you want to at least keep this within a touchdown, but it's better to keep it even within 3 points.
2nd down and goal, ball at the 5-yard line, handoff to St. Pierre. St. Pierre is going to be dropped for a gain of none, it looks like, with 11:20 left in the 3rd quarter of action. The score is still 13-3, setting up a 3rd down and goal from the 5-yard line.
Number 73 for the Moorpark Raiders, offensive lineman Shane Defari is going to check in because number 77 for the Moorpark Raiders, offensive lineman Corey Price had to come out because his helmet came off for one play.
I'd like to see if Tilley can come back in the game and run. He's been their leading rusher to this point, 46 yards on 10 attempts.
As they will stick with Archibald for this one. Fake handoff rolling out to the left. 3rd and goal at the 5. In St. Pierre's hands and right out. It's incomplete. He was right there for the touchdown. And it's going to be an incomplete pass on 3rd and goal. Now setting up 4th down and goal at the 5.
And Troy Smith is doing everything right. I mean, he's giving his receivers an opportunity to be successful. But we saw earlier Curtis Cooley unable to come away with it. Pierre right there just going right through his hands. I mean, you cannot make those mistakes and expect to win this game. They have to work on ball first and then turn upfield. I think he got very excited right there and just slipped right through his fingers.
I do think it's I think it is a good idea to go for the field goal here to make sure they get points.
On the field goal kick, Riley Garrett able to knock it down. It's going to be good. That was a 22-yard field goal attempt from the 12-yard line. Riley Garrett knocking down 2 field goals. It was a 31-yarder on the 3rd drive of the game, and now on the 8th drive of the game, he was able to knock down a 22-yard field goal to put the score 6-13. Long Beach City College still up right now by 7.
They are going to need to come away with some touchdowns in this game at some point. Of course, you can't rely just on field goals, but with that being said, it's still great to see them come away with some points in this game. Now only down by 7 as we have a whole half just about left to play.
10:58 and counting here.
Yep, I mean,
We're
they're
gonna see a
definitely
kick.
good field position here.
We're going to see a kick.
It does look like they're about to go kick it off right now. The Moorpark Raiders getting ready. Number 97, Hadj Makshian. Makshian's going to kick it deep.
So here comes the kickoff. It's going to go out of bounds right around the 12-yard line. Obviously a penalty flag. We'll see what happens with this.
Now, with this flag, it will put good field position for Moorpark. On defense, we've seen 1 sack, and half of it has been credited to 2 different people. I believe Ivory Jackson and Antoine Wynn, I believe, is the other one. Half a sack for 7 yards each.
Right.
So look for them to pressure the QB again. Murphy looks to still be in at quarterback. He's going to take the snap. The pass. No, they're going to fake it and send it to the sideline. That is number 3, Tayshawn White, on the reception.
Tayshawn White, nice run. Good to see they're giving him the ball a little bit more in this second half. Just as deadly as Pierre Robinson. We actually haven't seen since he got injured. Unfortunately, he's been out this whole game. But they've been able to adapt very well, you know, of course, with Tayshawn White, number 3, and also number 32, Taloon Patton, who's been playing exceptional tonight. It's great to see how the Vikings have been able to adjust, also losing one of their key guards early on in the game, and they're still able to play without any hiccups.
And that shows the depth. Again, we talked about they have a lot of key players at key positions.
And that guard that I was just talking about that went down earlier, that was Jacob Finagonifo. They went down earlier.
And the injured player down on the field for Long Beach City College is Patrick Lee, number 17, the wide receiver. Hopefully he's okay. We've seen him showcased for Long Beach City College throughout this game. Not a receiver that gets a lot of playing time, but at least tonight he has gotten a lot of playing time.
Good thing he's able to get to his own feet. Doesn't look to be too serious, hopefully. With that being said, that is the 3rd player that we have seen have some sort of injury for the Long Beach Vikings offense alone. So they've had tons of hurdles they've had to overcome, but of course they are still winning this game, and the offense has been playing tremendously well, so not too many problems that they can't seem to deal with.
And if you're the Moorpark defense, there's not a lot of people that have been featured on this stat line. You want to get more people involved.
Maybe some different packages
That's
is what
correct, yes.
what you're alluding to.
So now Long Beach City College set up with a 2nd down and 3. It's going to be a 2nd down and 3. Ball at the 42-yard line. It's going to be a fake handoff. Quarterback keeper Murphy, chased by DJ Turner, able to get out of the arms of a tackle and out past midfield at the 49 inside Raider territory.
And I think what they did during this halftime break, the Long Beach Vikings were able to do, is they're able to focus primarily just on Murphy's run game. They don't even need to pass too much just because the first half they've seen how much success he's had, so they're just sticking pretty much to the run game no matter who it is.
As they should. They have the depth there.
So first down of this drive. Set up in the pistol is going to be a handoff straight up the middle, able to get down past the 45-yard line, and it's going to be about a 5-yard gain on the run with just above 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, 10:02 and counting to be exact.
And if you're Moorpark's defense, you want to be able to try and stop them on this drive because your offense did just come away with points.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 44-yard line is going to be a fake handoff. Pitch from Murphy. Just able to get positive yardage. Looked like he was going to be tackled in the backfield. That's number 5, Mason Bowen, on the carry.
And another great fake there by Taloon Patton right there, running full speed right through that interior, selling it perfectly and giving his teammate a chance to be successful right there.
Looks like he was stopped just shy of the 1st down at the 38.
And it is good to see number 20 for the Vikings, Pierre Robinson, back in the game after going down early in the first quarter. That's always great to see him back in there and healthy.
So now with the 3rd down and 3, quarterback keeping it. Murphy able to spin forward for another first down for the Vikings on their 8th drive. They're able to get 2 first downs on their first drive of the second half. They went 3 and out and had a punt, so a little bit of change right now.
Murphy definitely taking this game into his hands here. Not like we said, not too much passing. Definitely, the Vikings are definitely sticking with the option setup for him.
And the concern now is they're bleeding time off the clock as well.
So now on this 1st down and 10, they're setting up at the 38-yard line. Passes just incomplete. At least it looks like it's incomplete. Bounce off a receiver, almost caught by another one, as it will set up a 2nd down and 10.
And like you were talking about, Justin, basically what it's doing by keeping your offense out there and running down the clock is you're just wearing down a defense. Now, it should be the other way around. You always want to keep your offense on the field no matter what team you are, so they can run down the clock, and at the same time, you control the pace of the game and you wear down the defense.
We've seen more miraculous plays like that carom last week at Ventura, so it always can happen.
That was insane.
So now this 2nd down and 10. Hits a receiver. It falls incomplete as it bounced off a receiver, went in Tavius James' hands, but hit the ground previous to the interception. So it'll just be an incomplete pass after all that.
Now the tip drill is one of the most overlooked practice techniques I think that football has to offer, just because people maybe don't take it that seriously, but it shows up so many times in a game. We've already seen it. As we were talking about, it happened again.
Right.
Just staying focused on that ball, that split-second decision to be able to readjust. The hand-eye coordination is so key to being a good athlete.
Now 3rd and 10 coming up. Hits his guy on a slant route. Jalen Turner is there for the tackle. That was number 8, Milshin Lathan, with the reception. It's going to set up a 4th down now.
And that was a great job by Jalen Turner stopping the initial route, but then Lorenzo Bernardi was able to come by and stop it before he was able to gain any more forward progress.
And I like to piggyback off your point, Nick, about the tip balls. It has cooled off substantially here, so that could also have something to do with it.
4th down and 3, they're going for it. Empty backfield set. Tries to hit his man. DJ Turner coming up with the defense. A late flag is thrown. I believe it's going to be pass interference against him.
And I think he was just held the back of his jersey as he came across. A lot of times DBs tend to do that when they're, in their man coverage, and the ball is definitely thrown right in front of them. They sometimes grab just on the back of the jersey a little bit. Right there, the referee saw it. And
not only that, but it is the referee's judgment to decide if the defender got there too early, which could also draw the flag.
Correct.
In this case, it was a little late, something the coaching staff on the sideline was talking about.
And if they do pick up this 1st down, that's going to be another.
So will be pass interference against the defense, as we mentioned, and it did look like he might have also not turned his head on the play as well, which could have added to him not being able to just be caught with a pass deflection.
That's a good point. That's right, Ryan. If you don't turn your head right there, they will throw the flag as well, just because that's just how the game works. So another crucial penalty that has negatively impacted the Moorpark defense.
So that's the 1st down. It's the 3rd 1st down of this drive alone for Long Beach City College. Don't think a timeout was called just as of yet, as they're talking about it on the Long Beach City College sideline right now.
Have they moved the chains?
Yeah, they did pick up the 1st down. Oh, do you mean
did they move
actually physically move them?
After the penalty,
I
did
think
they move
they.
The spot?
I'm not positive on that one,
okay.
Justin.
I think they did move the sticks because it looked like the 1st down marker was right around where the line of scrimmage is.
Okay.
Maybe just a yard or two, but they did move it.
So now in an option, Murphy taking it himself, not pitching it. There's a penalty flag thrown, bounces off a defender. He's going to run in for the touchdown, but there was a penalty flag in the backfield off of the 28-yard run.
And we were kind of confused, I think, between us, just why Drake Peabody wasn't playing in this game, but
Murphy has picked up the slack.
There will be a holding penalty, so it takes back the 28-yard touchdown run from Murphy, which would have been his third rushing touchdown of the game and would put him in the lead for most rushing touchdowns out of a Viking this season, but it is going to be brought back 10 yards.
And like I was talking about Drake Peabody, I mean, Murphy has clearly showed why he deserves to be the starter with his feet. I mean, the way that he's run, the way he's able to command the Vikings in this offense, he just shows that he's unstoppable at this point. Moorpark doesn't really have an answer for his run game. And let's not forget, he's a quarterback, and they don't have an answer for his run game.
Now setting up with a first down and 17. There's going to be a penalty flag thrown. I believe that was actually a third down, but the down markers, they haven't changed them on the field.
Devin Roos, I believe, on the reception there. A very physical tackle.
There's going to be a sideline warning for Long Beach right now.
Does a flag usually come out on that? Or is that just something that the referees
I think it does, because on that, I mean, there was a flag actually thrown on that play, so yes.
I didn't see
and now
that.
it's kind of weird, though, because it's one of those weird instances where the flag doesn't always necessarily mean that there is going to be yardage lost or gained. Right there, it's just a warning.
And sometimes you see a referee's hat thrown as well.
That's when he's already thrown his flag, yeah. Or sometimes if he's seen multiple penalties. So it is going to be 2nd and 14 now with 7 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. Just waiting for the clock to be reset. One of the refs is talking to one of the Long Beach wide receivers, looks to be number 2. That is Jonathan Bonds, the star athlete. Okay, the game's going to resume now.
So on this 2nd down and 14, Murphy is going to toss it across his body, able to get there on the wide receiver screen. That was number 2, Jonathan Bonds.
Third and 6 now. I mean, on the fringe, again, a field goal range. A possibility of going for it if you're the Vikings, but want to stop him here if you're Moorpark.
Now coming up is a 3rd down and 6. Murphy getting outside of the pocket, but he's going to be brought down with a sack. DJ Turner, Ivory Jackson was there on the sack.
Moorpark finally coming up with an answer able to stop Murphy right there. Does look that Antoine Wynn's walking off a little bit with a limp, but able to come to his own 2 feet. So Moorpark finally able to have an answer for success against Murphy's run game.
So now after that, it's going to be a 4th down and 8. They're going for a field goal attempt. They're going to be kicking from the 33-yard line. It's a 43-yard attempt. He has enough leg, and wow. That was a big leg. He gets it to go on the 43-yarder.
That was a very impressive kick right there.
Kudos to the coaching staff for going with that call and having the guts as well.
So far in the second half, both teams have scored 3 points. A 22-yard field goal by Riley Garrett on their first drive of the second half. And on the second drive of the second half for Long Beach City College was a 43-yard attempt that they just made, as you just saw. And that was kind of NFL kicker range, basically, with how big his leg was, and he still had about 10-plus yards to go on the kick. Just about 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter of action. The score is 16-6. Long Beach City College with a 10-point lead. 6:04, as I mentioned, to be exact on the scoreboard right now for time left.
That's actually a bigger stop than Moorpark may think it means, because they're still only down 10, and they didn't let the Vikings get in the end zone. So as much as we marvel at that kick, we can't underscore how big of a stop that is as well, not getting him into the end zone.
Vinny Corso making a big return. He's down to about the 37-yard line.
Attention fans, if you purchased a copy of the Raiders Illustrated magazine and the Associated Students half-page advertisement signed by head football coach Alex Stewart, you just won a big prize. Please come up to the press box to claim your prize.
Troy Smith's going to take it in a shotgun.
And he's going to hand it off right there. That's Alex Tilley leveling a defender on the 1st and 10. Wow, my oh my sweet cherry pie. He put a licking on the defender.
Tilley has been extremely physical all game long, making a statement as now the running back of this offense.
So now with the hurry-up offense on a 1st down and 10. Tilley getting it once again. He has some daylight in front of him. He has one man to beat down to the 20. He does get brought down, but wow, Tilley, have yourself a night.
That was number 13, Jeremiah Houston, on the tackle. Had he not made that tackle, that could have been 6.
So now hurry-up offense, 1st down and 10, kind of throwing it away. It looked like it could have possibly been deflected. But one quick note, the chains, the 1st down markers and, obviously the line of scrimmage markers weren't even set when the ball was snapped. That's how hurry-up offense they're going.
And that's not required as far as I know, correct?
Technically, it's not required, especially on a 1st down and 10 since it's only 10 yards to go.
And Alex Tilley has played one of the best games of his career here at Moorpark tonight.
So now on this 2nd down and 10, Smith still has the ball, trying to hit Vinny Corso as it's going to fall incomplete.
Flag on the play.
Yes, there will be a flag on the play. There was a little extra stuff happening with Long Beach City College and Moorpark about the 10-yard line.
Possibly, I don't know if it would be an unsportsmanlike conduct, but maybe an extra roughing penalty there after the contact.
And it did look like it was against Long Beach City.
It was a physical end of the play, that's for sure. See what the referees rule here.
So we're still going to be looking what's going to happen right now. It's going to be the personal foul against the defense. It's going to be half the distance to the goal line, and it's going to be an automatic 1st down by roll, so the ball is going to be placed at the 10-yard line. So it's going to be 1st down and goal.
Folks, I just want to correct myself. The penalty that I would have referred to would be unnecessary roughness. That's what I would have thought it could be.
It's going to be interesting if this is 1st down and goal or 1st down and 10, because it's not exactly on the 10-yard line. It's closer to the 11-yard line, and it looks like it actually will be a 1st down and 10 at the 11, as you see the 1st down marker is right at about the 1. And
sometimes that can make a huge difference when you get these 3rd and shorts and they're able to just pick up the yard. That gives them a whole new set of downs from the 1.
3 first downs on this drive alone. There will be a penalty flag. I believe it's going to be offsides against the defense, as Troy Smith is going to be brought down.
I wonder what would have happened had it been like a 10.5. What would they have done?
I think they still would have done the 1st and 10 from the 1st and goal on the 6-inch marker maybe.
Okay. Obviously, it wouldn't matter now considering the offsides penalty as well. But
and it would be half the distance to the goal. So just taking that off. But it will be offsides. It did look like it was offsides prior to it.
Well, they would have stopped the play had it been a false start too. So for our viewers, if there's something you can learn from a game like this, is that if you see a flag come out and the play is not stopped and it's from the line of scrimmage like that, it can mean offside. So that could be a tell for all of you that may be watching.
So it's going to be a repeat of the 1st down, ball at the 5-yard line. It's going to be about a 1st down and 4 since the 1st down marker is at the 1-yard line. 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Smith, empty backfield set. He's going to take it himself, but he's actually going to throw it delayed. He hits Luis St. Pierre for the touchdown, Raiders.
This is the most gutsy I have seen Moorpark play all season. Not laying down, staying composed, and getting a drive together. Great fake by Smith, able to sell it and fit it right into the window.
And that's going to be Troy Smith's first touchdown of the year as well. So he has definitely stepped into this role as the starting quarterback tonight, as Moorpark is just a mere 4 points away from tying up this ball game.
You know what I think is pretty remarkable? The journey that Troy Smith has come on. Justin and I were able to call the El Camino College game where he got brought up for a red shirt. Wasn't even supposed to play this season, and now he's the starter, leading the team to just 4 points, possibly 3 points behind Long Beach City College.
And folks, that
as the PAT attempt is actually going to be blocked, it's going to be recovered right around the 10-yard line, so no chance of bringing it back. So it's still going to be a 4-point game now, 16-12, Long Beach City College in the lead.
And to finish off that point, folks, the reason he came off as a redshirt is because Bryce Viole has been hurt for the season. So they did need an extra quarterback to add to the depth chart. I'm not even sure, as an analyst, they would have thought that Smith would have seen any playing time this season. And now, as you said, Ryan, the journey he's taken, and not to take anything away from Ethan Postler, who has also been great at quarterback as well, the journey he has taken this year has been remarkable to watch.
Yeah, and Troy Smith, I always wonder what goes through a player's mindset in that situation. I mean, you go from looking at your first tier to redshirting, which basically means you practice with the team, but you never get playing time, to getting pulled up to the backup, to now you're starting, and you potentially might win the second game of the season. So, I mean, it's a lot to take in, and it's great to see the Moorpark players go through such an experience.
So with that being said, off of the quick touchdown pass, it was a 5-yard touchdown pass from Troy Smith to Luis St. Pierre. They're able to get the score up to 12 points. So it's 16-12, Long Beach City College still with the lead.
And that missed PAT could be bigger than some people realize. Instead of a field goal, it's still a touchdown deficit now, and you're coming up 3/4 of the way through the third quarter. So
I like that, 3/4 of the way through the third quarter.
Do some fractions real fast.
And the enunciation worked.
There we go. Now on the slight pooch kick, it's going to be recovered by Lee. Lee, we saw him exit the game as he got an injury, but now he's back out. So good to see one of the injured players, as we've seen 2 of them already returning for Long Beach City College right now, able to take it past the 40.
And that is also big because it maintains the depth for them that they may need to finish off this game, considering how hard Moorpark is fighting right now.
And both teams have done a great job of giving their offenses good field position coming out. I mean, right there, taking the ball all the way up to what looks to be about the 43-yard line. Great return there by Lee.
So right now it's going to be a 1st down and 10, ball on their own 43-yard line for the Vikings. This is their 9th drive of the game. On the handoff, a pile is forming as they're not able to get positive yard, but finally able to break out. Wow.
And that's the definition of never giving up on a play, never stopping until you hear the whistle. You saw his legs. Never stop moving your legs. Even until you hear that whistle, don't stop moving your legs. He just picked up a 1st down and would look to be a gain of 1.
And you know, plays that you can see that on in certain situations, a QB sneak is
a great example.
Something that is a great example of pushing a pile.
So on that 1st down and 10, only able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
I'd just like to point out a major stat here. Long Beach has rushed the ball for 25 times for 104 yards, as opposed to Moorpark's 20 times for 22 yards.
And that was at the beginning of the second half.
That's correct. So good clarification, Nick. That's absolutely right. So it just shows the large discrepancy in terms of what Long Beach has been able to do today on the ground.
So now setting up a 2nd down and 10. Ball is placed at the 47-yard line, able to hit his receiver for a 1st down and a little bit more, as they're able to get 13 off of the pass with 3:30 left in the third quarter.
And it's important for Moorpark's defense, too. The fact that Moorpark just scored a touchdown means that you don't want to give up a touchdown or really any points again.
So there's going to be an illegal block against Long Beach City College off of the penalty. So erase the 13-yard gain, and they're going to be marked back now.
And for those who don't know exactly what a cut block is, it's basically when the offensive lineman, or it can be called on the defense, most time offensive lineman, jumps straight at the defensive line's knees. It's very dangerous, can cause ACL tears, season-ending injuries, and whenever they see that, it's an automatic red flag or red sign and a flag.
So it will be a 2nd down and 25 now coming up for Long Beach City College. Murphy in the pocket, just escaping, is able to hit Patterson there, and he's able to run out of bounds. Number 20 of Long Beach City College. That is actually Pierre Robinson, my correction on that.
And that penalty that we just saw is huge because with the score the way it is, Long Beach was having all the momentum their way driving down the field, and now it backs them up to a point where it's going to be harder to maintain that momentum.
3rd down and 14 now coming up for Long Beach. They're still on their side of the field at the 49-yard line. Just under 3 minutes left and counting, 2:53 to be exact, 16-12 lead for Long Beach City College. Murphy stepping up in the pocket, has nowhere to go, gets bitten on the 4-man rush, but he gets outside. Able to get a gain of yards past the 30-yard line. Big first down for Long Beach.
It was a huge pickup of a gain of about 20 to 25 yards. Murphy once again scrambling out of the pocket. Moorpark once again getting the pressure but not finishing these plays, tackling him, sacking him, getting him down before he's able to take it for a huge first down pickup.
And both these teams are really, with the quarterback play, so similar in terms of the way they run their plays. So it's almost a carbon copy of each side.
1st down and 10 coming up for the Vikings. Murphy still has the football. Quarterback keeper trying to use a stiff arm. Steps out of bounds for about a 1-yard gain on the play. 2:17 left in the 3rd quarter.
And what I'm trying to figure out is if most of these plays are improvised or if they're designed, because that play was designed, but I feel like personally that Murphy has improvised a lot of the runs he's put on today out of passing situations.
Seems like there's a lot of improvisation going on his part as a 2nd down and 9 is now coming up. 2 minutes left to be exact now, only 5 seconds left on the play clock. It's going to be a fake handoff. Murphy throwing it deep down the field, almost coming up with an Odell-like catch, but it's going to be incomplete. Now with 1:51 left in the 3rd quarter, we have a 3rd down and 9 coming up. And right now we're actually going to be having a guest analyst on as we have Perry Martin. He is an instructor here at Moorpark College for Business, and he is also going to be talking about Tamakas with us, which is teaching men of color. And we're actually going to be having him on. So, Perry, thank you very much for coming on to our live stream with us as we have a 3rd and 9.
You are quite welcome.
And right now we have a sack, and obviously you're here. We have veterans that are going to be recognized tonight. We also have Tamakas going to be recognized tonight. What do you have to tell us about Tamakas right now for our live stream?
Well, the Teaching Men of Advocates initiative was designed to help close that opportunity gap for those underrepresented populations that don't quite achieve the same results as the higher performing students. And Teaching Men of Color Advocates are those faculty that are willing to respond by using techniques such as culturally responsive training, intrusive learning techniques, all of the latest research that helps us understand how do we reach those faculty, those students, and imply it in our classroom.
And it seems like it's definitely a great cause. Moorpark College representing teaching men of color advocates. So what do you have to say about Moorpark College as well in representing that and making sure that that's one of the core principles of their teaching credentials?
Well, Moorpark College has a students first philosophy, and when we say a students first philosophy, we mean all students. When we recognize that the data says that we rank amongst the 4th best community college in the nation, that means we have to pay attention to all of our students. And when we see some of our students that are not quite achieving as high as the rest of them, then that means we have to take action. And teaching men of color is a response to that need, and that need to address that opportunity gap. And so many of our faculty have shown the willingness to go that extra step, to learn to research, to try different techniques, to look at their data, take their data and disaggregate it and see exactly how well the students of color are doing inside of their classroom, and use the best practices in order to reach them and help them reach the kinds of standards where we can ultimately close the opportunity gap completely. And it has been done, it can be done, and we're optimistic if we have more faculty that are committed that it will be done.
And the opportunity gap, as you were mentioning, that is something that would be great if it's abolished. A 3rd down 11 coming up for Moorpark College right now. But as we're speaking, you said if more of the instructors were able to get that as a core philosophy for them, as you've mentioned with Moorpark College as well, putting that as a core philosophy for most of the instructors, how has that helped so far with Moorpark College in general, getting to that 4th place community college, but also helping out everybody that is struggling in classes with teaching men of color advocates?
Well, it's clear that Moorpark College does a lot of things well. I mean, when we have this saying called Moorparking it, and in Moorparking it, we've been able to create certain tactics or strategies that are particularly unique to Moorpark, and we work in a very collegial environment where we work together to find solutions to problems. And when it comes to closing that gap, that's exactly what we'll do. Tamakas itself and teaching men of color is just another example of us. We created a Canvas on online shell where faculty can go in and we can have some of those difficult conversations that you might not be able to have in committees or work groups. The ones about race and race relations, the ones about culturally responsive or intrusive training, testimonials about faculty that have had issues with students of color and how to go about, share resources, share research, share ideas, and also get away from some of the bureaucratic issues or some of the roadblocks or impediments to make sure that it's all inclusive and everyone from the groundskeeper to the classified staff to the teaching staff to the administrators, we all come together where there's no big I's, little U's, there's no organizational chart, there's no structure. It's just people that are dedicated and committing to and willing to do what it takes to show these folks of color that they belong. We want them to be connected, whereas they might not have the parental environment, but the stakeholders in the community are here to help them and provide resources, and whether it be faculty advisement, whether it be reaching out in one-to-one, just knowing their names and walking up to them, building rapport, having conversations with them. And tonight is the example where teaching men of color of advocates showed up tonight in support of, we have quite a bit of the players that are men of color, and although they perform exceptionally well, but still there are some that are here that can use that kind of support, and they get to see their faculty, they get to see their administrators, they get to see the staff, and they get to see us here showing our support and saying, hey, we believe in you, we support you. And those are the kinds of things that help students be successful, because that gives them that intrinsic type of need. It meets that need, and it's been successful. And I'd just like to add, when you put teaching men of color alongside with veterans, the ones that have selflessly served and given up their time, what they have in common is that it takes skill development in order to be successful as a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine. And that same type of skill development, teaching men of color advocates can develop the skills to increase their success in the classroom. As long as they know that there are other folks that are just like them, that are willing to reach out and to try a different technique, it works, and it's been so successful so far, and we continue to look forward to building this cohort, expanding it. It's inviting. I mean, it is. It's open to any race, religion, color, or creed, anybody that's interested in addressing this issue that's systemic all across California community colleges. And Moorpark is no different. But one thing we do, and we can say about Moorpark, is not only that we're committed and dedicated, but we're enthusiastic about teaching men of color and how we can choose our own unique and individual approach to addressing this issue, along with the research that's out there. And we've had some of the best speakers, some of the best researchers of the day, and that have come and have given us pointers, as well as those folks from Guided Pathways that have we've incorporated that into our approach. So this is a very opportunistic time, a great time for Moorparkians to step up and say, we're going to get this done. And I'm confident, along with the other teaching men of color advocates, the students are very responsive, and we look for opportunities to embrace new innovative ideas, and there is consistently growing and getting better, and we share with each other. And again, this is just one of those opportunities tonight where we get to show that we're here, we're showing up, and that's leadership. If you show me what you value, show me where you spend your time, your money, your effort, and your energy, I'll tell you what you value. And so when you see us here tonight, that shows that we value our students of color, as well as the rest of the Moorpark population. But specifically tonight, this is what we're here for. And this is just a great opportunity, and this has been a wonderful night where we've a lot of recognition. And now we just got to pull this game off, and hopefully they'll dig deep and finish strong. So we're optimistic about that.
I'm glad that it has been so successful. And now going back to the game you were mentioning, us being here at the game, it's a 16-12 lead for Long Beach City College right now. Here in the fourth quarter with just under 13 and a half minutes left. I know that you have a big connection with football, as well as your son's playing football as well. So how is it being in this atmosphere, also with Moorpark College Athletics being here at the football field for this game?
Well, when you study leadership, there's a philosophy. Are leaders born or are they made? There are some leaders that are born intrinsically with traits that make them great. Now, let me slow down as this guy gets ready to turn this thing. I'm about to turn into an announcer, and he's run this back for about 40 yards. But
Vinny Corso, wow.
That's right. So if you can become a great leader, that means you can develop the skills. Just like these athletes, just like these coaches that go in and day out and practice on their skills to help their teams develop to become better players in a synergistic approach, working together, performing under pressure. You cannot, it's a myth, you cannot perform any better than you've practiced. And if you make training just as difficult, when it comes to games like this, you can step out, or you can get to step up and you can perform. So the same way for those teaching men of color, if they've studied the research, if they've read the right types of books and made the commitment that they will get better, just like those football players, when it's the fourth quarter and everybody else has run out of gas and it's time to step up and to give it all you have, this is a time where your skill shows. And it is truly about skill development, and most important from a leadership, it's about empathy. Being truly committed and putting yourself in the place of these students that might not have the parental support, might not have the resources. We have them here at Moorpark, and I'm happy to say that administration, the faculty, all the departments, the directors, the disciplines, they are overwhelmingly willing to help students at every turn be the best and ultimately live out and reach their full potential. And that's what makes this place so great. And we have been successful, and we'll continue to be successful for the next 50 years after he just put it up on the 2-yard line. Okay,
Yes,
as you can see, I got
at the 3.
You can see at the 3 yard. You can see I got a coach in me. I'm getting a little fired up. But that kind of passion, and enthusiasm is exactly what it takes. And I'm gonna ignore that flag that's on the field. Ignore that flag on the field. Okay, so there's a flag on the field, which is indicative of this. As you apply your skills, and if you practice this, you will make some mistakes. So those teaching men of color advocates, they do make mistakes when it comes to how they go about teaching men of color. However, we'll pick that flag up. We'll pick that flag up. We'll wave it off, and we'll give them either the research or we'll have a conversation and say, hey, listen, that might not have been the best approach. Maybe you could try this differently. Or we'll do what a great coach does is on Monday, we will smoke them the whole practice. No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that. But teaching is a tremendous privilege.
Yes.
And there's a great philosophy that says that inside of every acorn there lives an oak. In that case, we are nutritionists. We get a chance every day to go into those classrooms and help build these students and give them and provide the kind of nutrition where they could grow strong and deeply rooted in the kinds of skills that when they transfer to a 4-year university, they can be successful. If they branch out and become an entrepreneur, they can be successful because we teach them those employability skills. And that's most important. If we look at students and say to them, we believe in you, you have the opportunity to reach your full potential, and we as a college are committed to ridding any obstacle or any impediment or any barrier that we can. All you have to do is put forth the effort and have the willingness to succeed, and we believe that you truly can. And Moorpark is that kind of place that the ultimate goal is when they leave, have they left here better off than we found them? Okay. And consistently the rankings show that they are, and we consistently rank high because we do a lot of great things well, just like drawing the pass interference that's about to put us in the red zone and we're about to score. This is me using my skill as a part-time analyst that is just coming off, and this is almost how my classroom is too, so I am absolutely enjoying this. And I just like to take another point to say Ryan, the commentator, is actually one of my former students and my president. I'm so proud of him as well. But it wouldn't work if he didn't develop the skills to do this. So
hey, there we go. Did I develop it in your class?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can say that without being ingratiating myself with you.
Well, that is great. Once again, that was guest analyst Perry Martin. Thank you very much for coming on here to be able to talk about Tamakas, be able to talk about this great cause at this great game, as well as talking about veterans. We are going to be going back to the game, but once again, thank you very much for guest analyst Perry Martin coming on our show.
Okay, and finally, on behalf of the Moorpark campus community, the leadership, the veterans, and Tamakas, we thank you for this opportunity to come on and to share this wonderful evening with you, and we wish you all the best and Godspeed. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you, Perry. As you just saw, that was a fumble recovery for a touchdown for Long Beach City College as they were able to take it back. Big-time touchdown there, 22-12. As the Long Beach City College Vikings are now winning this game by a larger margin. They had a 4-point lead, but now a 10-point lead as we have 11 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter of play. It looked like Moorpark was driving down the field. They had 2 first downs, but then that fumble backed them all the way up, and touchdown Vikings.
That is a huge touchdown, a momentum turner with that big play. It is now 10 points up. We've seen some big plays on this drive there.
That was a huge play. I mean, that definitely switched the momentum, like you said, Justin. I mean, there's only 11 and a half minutes now. Of course, that's plenty of time to come back in the game. But Moorpark was just, 20 to 30 yards? I'm not sure exactly where the fumble happened, Ryan. Was it around the 20-yard line?
Yeah, it was right around there, obviously, depending on where they picked it up.
Right.
But it was.
They were knocking, they were knocking in the red zone once again. another mishap happens, and look at what happens right again. They're down by now 11. So that's the second time tonight we've seen them in the end zone, or close, pardon me, not the end zone, the red zone. And, earlier in the game we saw a couple penalties that took them out of field goal position right before the half ended. And right now we just saw them inching closer to actually taking the lead in this game. And one fumbled snap for a touchdown scoop and score turns into a missed opportunity, to say the least.
So right now, after the fumble recovery for a touchdown, a long fumble recovery, we'll have that stat at the end of the game to see the official yardage on it, but it was at least a 70-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, more closely to about a 77 to 80-yarder. So big-time play right there, 11.5 minutes left, 11:32 to be exact, 11-point lead for the Vikings.
It's going to be very important now for Moorpark to respond, and quite frankly, respond quickly.
Yeah, speed is necessary for Moorpark. Vinny Corso took back a long kickoff return previously. Kyle Peterson returned this one past the 35-yard line. But as we were speaking to Professor Perry Martin, that was displaying Tamakas to us and veterans and this game as well, they were able to set Moorpark up with great field position. Curtis Colliard almost caught a few touchdown passes, but one was called back from pass interference. The other was a catch, but then it was called back because of a penalty as well.
Well, and Peterson on that last kickoff return, as we just saw, needs to be a little bit more careful about securing the ball. As he was running, there were guys behind him that were trying to poke it away. So
Smith drawing back to pass, looking for Colliard. Once again, a deep pass play. He had to contort his body, was unable to come up with the reception. So we'll now set up a 2nd down and 10 from their own 36-yard line, as number 13 of the Long Beach City College Vikings was there on the coverage, Jeremiah Houston.
And Houston actually the leading interception leader, yeah, thank you, for the Long Beach Vikings with 3 on the year. But going back to Curtis Colliard, I mean, you can see it all night tonight. He's been trying to get that spectacular catch, and he's had a couple opportunities. Right there, I think he just jumped it a little bit too early.
So now on the 2nd and 10, it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Able to get about a gain of 3 on the play is what they're going to be calling it on the 2nd and 10.
Now, Nick, I'm actually thinking there were 2 things. What you just mentioned, I don't know if the ball was a little overthrown or if it was because the route may have been underrun.
Right,
so,
correct. I get what you're saying, yeah.
Right.
I think it could have been a combination of both. I did see, though, that Colliard didn't jump at the highest point to get the ball. He kind of jumps a little bit too early, and the ball was still coming down the way down.
So now on the 3rd down and 7 from the 39-yard line, throwing it deep down the field to Vinny Corso. There's going to be a penalty flag as Blake Jenkins was there on the coverage on Corso.
And we've seen a lot of pass interference calls on both ends of the spectrum today. Oh, well, that is actually a hold, but
I thought it was also a pass interference.
Nonetheless.
Yep. That does bring us back to that point we've talked about a couple of times tonight, is how both of these teams have just, when it comes to the penalty aspect of their seasons, both of them have not done a good job of, minimizing their mental and physical mistakes. I mean, both over 100 yards.
And I believe in the case of Moorpark, they are over 100 penalties on the season now.
So now on the 1st down and 10 is going to be a handoff, as their cheerleaders starting a cheer right now with the music just turning on. Able to get about 3 on the carry with 10.5 left in the game.
And our cheer team here at Moorpark is outstanding. They always come in with smiles and jumping around, and the cheer squad is a great part of the Royal atmosphere, the Moorpark atmosphere.
Exactly, and a 2nd down and 7. It's going to be another handoff. You were mentioning the Raiders Spirit Squad. It's the dance team from Moorpark College and the cheer team all coming together. They have black and pink pom-poms right now to be able to support breast cancer awareness, and it's just great to be able to have them back, as there was a 10-year hiatus that just was resumed, I believe, 2 years ago when the cheer team came back to Moorpark College campus.
Great collaboration, dancing and cheering all in one.
And I think it's important to note that it is also their sophomore night as well.
Yep. As on a 3rd down and 4, Smith is going to take it himself. He's able to get a 1st down. As you were mentioning, sophomore night themselves, they are getting recognized as well, Justin.
And though it's not like your senior night in high school, I think this can also be an emotional time for some of these players. Now, it's not the last game of the season, so it's not
As on a 1st down and 10, they're going hurry-up offense. A quick pass to Collier. Looks like they were setting up for a wide receiver screen, but he stepped out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Now, it's not that emotional, but it is still your last home game at Moorpark. You know, this is a lot of times one of the last times a lot of these guys will ever suit up here at home. And though they're only here for a year or two, it's still, you know, it's still saying goodbye to something that you once knew for quite some time.
Well, and we have to recognize that many people on a team consider themselves brothers to each other. So the relationships you make here can last for the rest of your lives, whether you play on another team or not, as you transfer, as you go ahead in your careers. Mm-hmm. So that's important to note, too, is the personal relationships some of these guys can make can be very impactful, leading to more emotion and love between each other, too.
And as you're speaking about that, if you were listening to our interview with DCH Auto Group, you would have heard one of the questions that I mentioned. I mentioned that Moorpark College, they try to recruit around the area in Ventura County, and that's what they do. Most of the players you see here have played with each other in Pee Wee football as well, and this will most likely be their last time to be able to play together on the same football field before some people go Division I or some people just stop playing football in general. So this can be an emotional time because the players in Pee Wee going up through middle school, high school with Newberry Park, Westlake, St. Bonaventure, we have Cam High, all these schools around, and now your last time playing with each other. It is going to be a little bit emotional, maybe not as much as a senior night, but it's still going to strike some emotion in you, as there were 12 players on the football field from Long Beach. That was that 5-yard penalty.
Well, and the reason, as you noted, is that these guys won't be playing with each other. They may played with each other since middle school, and when you go your separate ways, it's hard to reconnect.
Tilly was the man in motion on a 1st down and 5 from the 45-yard line. Smith just has to flip it out. It almost looked like he flipped it from his hip.
Flipped it from his hip. I like the terminology there.
Nice rhyming.
That's a nice rhyme scheme. Yeah, but right there, there's not much to do. Smart play by Smith, just getting rid of it. I mean, you don't have to force something every single time. And I think Smith has done a great job in the few games that we've seen him play of not forcing these passes. A lot of these young quarterbacks, and Smith is one, will have the tendency to try and fit these balls where they're not supposed to be thrown.
I would have tried to laser beam it in there, you know.
Yeah.
Superman
With the
kind
guy,
of
Justin, yep.
down the sideline, not lob, but I believe that was a false start.
Yes, it will be a false start for Moorpark, setting up a 2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Slip from the hip, trying to start my rap career right now on the broadcast. I don't know if that's going to go well. I think I should probably stay in the booth from that.
What kind of booth? It depends if you're in the studio booth.
We're very good friends off the air, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, he has started it already.
Hey, there we go. I appreciate that, Justin. Maybe not putting any records out, but at least for fun. Now in this 2nd and 10, it's going to be a fake handoff to Tilly. Smith finds Colliard, but Colliard unable to wrap it in as he tried to get it with his extended right hand. 3rd and 10 coming up.
And that was just a little bit overthrown we saw there, but Colliard did a great job of at least just trying for it, you know. And that's a lot of things you don't see too many athletes do, is even if they don't think they're going to come away with it, is, you know, give 110% every play. And Colliard does that right there. If he wouldn't have lifted his hand up, that could have been easily intercepted there by potentially number 1 for the Vikings, which is Blake Jenkins. So great job of at least batting the ball away.
Now on this 3rd down and 10, Tilly is the man in motion once again. Pressure right in his face. He lets it fly. Looks to be caught by Will Boucher, and it will be a reception. 1st down.
Nick, to piggyback off your point, one of the narratives that we've seen for this team all game long is drop passes. It goes right through their hands, or Smith may be a little bit inaccurate. So that's been part of the story for this game. There's
going to be a penalty flag on the play. It occurred after the play already happened, and the ball was already set up. So it's going to be interesting to see what that call is. 8:33 left in the duration of the game, 23-12. Last time Moorpark was this close to the end zone, they fumbled the football. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Long Beach City College, half the distance to the goal line. So they're at the 28, they're going to be at the 14 now.
Now that they are in the red zone, they have had some trouble in that. They've also scored in the red zone. We saw earlier when Pierre was able to catch that touchdown from Smith for about a 5-yard touchdown pass. But they need a touchdown. Now they can get a field goal, which will make it an 8-point game, which is a singular score game. But that puts a lot of pressure on that 2-point conversion. So
look at the time on the clock, too.
Exactly.
I mean,
a touchdown, 8:24. You definitely need to come away with a touchdown and then worry about a field goal later, not the other way around.
They were at the 27-yard line, so they split in half with just 13.5 and chose the 13. First down and 10. Smith looking for the end zone. No good. Pass is incomplete. It was deflected.
And if you're Long Beach, you're bailing them out right now with that penalty, and you don't want to do that. So it's going to be very important for them to hold Moorpark to 3 points at the very least here and get the ball back and bleed more time off the clock.
Exactly. And as you talked about earlier, actually in the pregame show, Ryan, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but that was Jordan Yancey on the deflection. You also said he's a ranked athlete, right? He is a ranked.
Yes, I'll go to the rankings in just a few seconds as we have a second down and 10. Smith evading the sack. He does have his helmet off. The play should have been called dead after the helmet came off, so that probably is going to be a little bit further forward, but
well, I think, Ryan, that his helmet was coming off as he was going to the ground. So
and it looked like his helmet was off when he escaped the pocket, however, so that's when the play would have been dead, is what they're probably going to have to discuss. But speaking about Jordan Yancey, it's going to be a personal foul quick, though, against the defense, a face mask. It's going to be automatic first down, but Jordan Yancey, number 2 on the defense, a cornerback, a 3-star athlete, ranked 135 in national rankings, 15th at the position and 22nd in California, according to 24/7 Sports composite rankings.
Now, Ryan and Nick, quick question. He doesn't have to come out of the game because it was a penalty that caused the helmet to come off? Is that the reason?
What? I did not know that, but yeah, I guess that's definitely
I mean, that's what I'm thinking,
yep.
Considering.
And Smith is still in the game,
right.
So that's what I believe is happening right now, Justin.
That is interesting, though. I did not know that, yeah.
Because usually if a helmet comes off, they have to be removed from the game regardless.
For one play, that's correct.
So I believe because the penalty. But now it's going to be a first and goal at the 6-yard line. Tilly gets the ball. There's a penalty flag thrown on the first and goal from the 6.
Possibly a hold. That's usually, especially down when you're near the end zone, it gets bunched up much more than usual, so penalty flags can fly more often.
And it's crucial here that Moorpark takes advantage of all these penalties that have been given to him. I mean, the Vikings have almost single-handedly moved them within 6 to 7 yards of scoring. Now, of course, there was a couple of great plays made.
It's going to be a chop block against the offense, a 15-yard penalty, going to bring them back beyond the 20-yard line.
There was a couple of great plays made by Moorpark, but when they were knocking in the red zone, the Vikings pretty much put them within the 5-yard line. Now, another penalty on the Moorpark offense takes them right back outside. This is exactly what we've talked about and we've seen tonight. Third time tonight, they've been in the red zone. For whatever reason, they lost it, fumbled it, or in this case, penalized right outside of the end zone.
Well, and they have to recognize that the refs are going to throw the flag if they see it. So they're not afraid to stop play in this scenario. So they need to be able to clean that up.
7 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. A first down and goal at the 21-yard line. Pass it to Curtis Goliard, and it's going to be a touchdown, Raiders.
And that's exactly what I was talking about all night. Curtis Goliard's been waiting for that leaping moment where he could come down with the ball right there for a touchdown, the biggest touchdown for the Moorpark Raiders tonight. Excellent job of looking the ball all the way in and attacking at the highest point.
First of all, Coulier, his hands on that reception, what a way to grab it and pull it in. The defender, great defense there, but if you're Moorpark, you want to start sustaining this as well. In this game, I think we've seen a lot of highs and lows in terms of where their offense has gone. They've scored a couple touchdowns, but then you see a lot of penalties, move them back, and stoppages in drives. So they want to be able to sustain it moving forward.
Moorpark's offense still out on the field, going for the 2-point conversion. They are down by 5, so it doesn't hurt them to go for 2 because they'll still be down by 4 if they just went for a PAT. So it doesn't hurt them that they're going for 2. They get a 1-possession game, as there will be a penalty flag. Troy Smith was running in the end zone. That would have been a successful 2-point conversion, but it's probably going to be brought back.
My guess is somebody wasn't set.
False start against the offense, backing them up 5 yards, so it still will be a 2-point conversion, at least from the looks of it, but they're just going to be from the 8-yard line.
Louis St. Pierre on that false start, crucial. Taking out Tilly right there and putting in Peterson. Definitely looks like they're going to go to a passing attack at this point.
And going for 2 seems to be the right move because of how much time you have on the clock. You have enough time to get another possession, and you want to get it within a field goal so you can tie the game up. And you also, I believe, have to Now Long Beach has called one, but 2 timeouts for Moorpark as well.
Yeah, so it'll be a timeout, 7:14 left in the game. While we do have a break in the action, we're going to thank a few more of our sponsors. We can't do it without you guys, so thank you very much for sponsoring Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. The U.S. Army. Go on business trips with a company like no other. U.S. Army. Big Brands Hire and Service. Big Means Go, a proud corporate partner of Moorpark College Athletics. Rise up. Wells Fargo Bank. At Wells Fargo, they are recommitted to help all of their customers succeed financially. Wells Fargo established in 1852 and reestablished in 2018. UCLA Health is a proud sponsor of Moorpark College Athletics with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you at UCLA Health. It begins with you. And Harley Simi Bowl is your home for Moorpark College Raider Athletics, offering bowling, billiards, arcade, and rock and roll pizza. Full-service sports lounge featuring Raiders happy hour every night from 6 to 10 p.m., except on weekends. Cosmic College Night Bowling is Thursday. All you can bowl for only $8 from 9 p.m. to midnight. And In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste. In-N-Out. We're now back to the action as we have 7:14 left on the play clock. Moorpark Raiders setting up for a 2-point conversion, down by 5. If they went for the PAT, they'll still be down by a touchdown. They'll be down by 4, so they just can't get the field goal. So smart 2-point conversion go here. Smith passing it in the end zone. Collier was the intended receiver. It's going to be incomplete, so still down by 5, a 23-18 lead for Long Beach City College.
What a game we've seen. We've seen a little bit of everything. Deep balls and flags have come out. Deep balls, penalties, passes, some chippiness.
Scoop and score.
Scoop and score, yes. Quarterback runs, a little bit of everything, and a close game at that, too, which helps the cause as well.
Yes, definitely the most exciting game I think we've covered this far. Of course, Palomar was a great game, the first game of the season that we covered.
That was a 23-13
20
final?
20 to 16.
20 to 16,
yeah.
Okay.
But personal foul is going to be called.
So it's going to be against the Raiders, which is going to be applied to the kick as a 15-yard penalty, so they'll probably be kicking it off somewhere about the 20-yard line.
What that does, of course, is it's going to give the Vikings great field position, even if they fair catch it, just because, I mean, no matter how far you can kick it, it's usually going to at least end up around the 15 if it's a booming kick.
And that's because of the 15
yards. And
yards.
that's because of the 15 yards, which tacks on and makes the Vikings have great field position. Not only does that penalty affect the kickoff, but that can have a huge impact on this drive here, because all Long Beach really has to do with 7 minutes is run the clock out.
So as I mentioned, they're going to be kicking it from their own 20-yard line. The kick returners are positioned at the 20 as well, so obviously not looking for a huge kick. I doubt that it's going to be a touchback. I mean, sign them up for an NFL team if it's right now.
That would keep our mouths wide open if that happens.
That's over 80 yards it would be in the air. Hayes Mokshian still putting a nice booming kick, kicking into the 17. That's where it's going to be recovered at. Taking his talents to the right side of the field, past the 40-yard line, still pushing the pile forward. Referees have not called it yet, as there is still forward momentum, as they'll finally stop it at the 42.
And some people might disagree. I kind of like when there's piles like that and they don't call it. Now, of course, the chance of injury does go up when all those bodies are around, but you can also see spectacular plays, and sometimes players even break those piles, and they're able to take it, like we saw earlier in the game. I forgot who was running the ball at the time, but there was a huge pile up. It might have been Patton, it might have been White, but they broke through like 10 guys, and they're able to pick up a first down. So that's why I agree with letting them play until the whistle's blown.
Well, and I'm interested, I think on the other side of the field to the right, they had tons of open room. He ran into the pile.
Right.
Now, there's something to be said. I guess there's that physical nature, and it just looks cooler to see to see
it
a
looks
run.
Cooler, yes, it
dragging
does.
defenders.
Right.
Justin, it's all about the coolness factor.
Right.
Just like in school.
We got it, right? 3 of us got it?
There you go. First down and 10. Ball at their own 42-yard line. Throwing on the run. Able to hit his guy. It's going to be just around the first down marker. Looks like he has enough. That's number 12 on the reception, Tariq Culpepper.
And if there's something Moorpark can do is they can afford to give up a field goal. Not that they would want to, of course, but they don't want to end up using their timeouts on this drive to me. They can wait, try and hold for a field goal, and use it on their upcoming offensive drive.
And that's the benefit of scoring on the last drive. It gives them that little bit of breathing room that they can give up a field goal.
1st and 10, now ball inside Raider territory at the 48-yard line, past midfield. Murphy is in the pistol set, single back. Going to take it himself, as it looked like there was a little miscommunication with him and the running back, as the running back turned into the lead blocker, but still able to get positive yardage on the play.
And this speaks to the game plan that they are using now, trying to bleed the clock as best they can.
6 minutes left and counting. 23-18. Long Beach City College Vikings are in the lead right now as they're marching down the field. Have a 2nd and 7, ball at the 45. A handoff straight at the middle as cheerleaders start their music once again, able to get about 6 on the carry.
So it'll be a 3rd down and short. So
this is a huge 3rd down.
Exactly.
Potentially the biggest. It is the biggest 3rd down of the game.
And Long Beach can have a bevy of options at their disposal. In terms of play calling, they can have a play action. They can run up the middle. They can bounce it to the outside. They can go shotgun. There's so many ways they can get this 1st down right now.
3rd and shorts are, I think, a defense's worst nightmare.
Yep.
And now with that 3rd down and 2, it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Almost took him down behind the line of scrimmage, but he's able to get the 1st down for the Vikings.
And Landon Alatorre right there. We're talking about wrapping up. It's so key when you make initial contact with the runner, the ball carrier, you have to wrap up and drive your feet. Landon Alatorre did an excellent job of first making contact, but wasn't able to wrap up, and that's the reason why Tishawn White, was able to break that and spin up for a huge 1st down.
And one of the reasons for that play call was to, again, keep the clock moving, not getting out of bounds on a pass.
Right.
So now on the 1st down and 10, quarterback's keeping it. Looks like it's a quarterback keeper because he's not throwing it down the field. Ivory Jackson, Jalen Valawaga both put hits on him, but finally number 17 was able to put him down, Peyton Shelton.
And Jackson needs to be careful. It looked like he was up near the head and trying to take out the quarterback. Don't want to get a flag on that play.
Targeting.
It is important to be physical and also very fired up, but also to stay composed and wrap up correctly in that case.
And Ivory Jackson, potentially the best player on the defensive line for the Moorpark Raiders. I mean, he's been such a problem for offenses all year.
We've said
like
10
you said,
sacks.
10 and a half, 10 said, and
Yeah,
that
10
should be
sacks.
credited for some right there.
2nd down and 17, handoff. There's going to be a Moorpark helmet down on the ground, and he's able to get 1 on the play.
And Moorpark might want to start thinking about using their timeouts. 3:35 north of the 50. And it looks like they did they?
They called a
call
timeout.
one?
That's correct. I don't know who they've put it on, but there's a timeout.
So there will be a timeout, and while we do have a break in action, we're going to thank a few more of our sponsors once again. We can't do without our sponsors, so thank you very much for supporting Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. Moorpark Center for Dentistry, changing the way people feel about going to the dentist every single day. Moorpark Center for Dentistry loves supporting our community. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly supporting education and Moorpark College football. Lexus, experience amazing. PennyMac, let us tackle all your mortgage needs at PennyMac, the lender you can call home. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Southern California light powered for 125 years. IBEW Local number 47 is a proud supporter of Moorpark College Raiders. And DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness, the game sponsor for us this evening. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors as we're back to the action. 3:36 left in the game, a 23-18 lead for the Vikings, setting up with a 3rd and 15, ball at the 42-yard line. Murphy, fake handoff, going for a pass, and he's going to be brought down by the Raiders.
That is the biggest sack of the game. They can afford to call their last timeout. Still have 3:25 on the clock.
Antoine Wynn, huge play.
And Wynn has come up big.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped up as the years progressed. Not someone we talked about to start the year, but definitely someone that as this year finishes, he'll definitely be remembered for this season.
And yes, he will be. And right now, it is going to be a 4th down and 19 here for the Vikings. We do have a break in action. We're going to thank just a few more of our sponsors real quickly before we go back to the action. Thank you very much for sponsoring Moorpark Athletics and here on the Raider live stream. Corner Bakery Cafe in the Simi Town Center, proud to support Moorpark College football for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. Corner Bakery Cafe. The Mercedes-Benz of Thousand Oaks. As a member of the Silver Star Automotive Group, Mercedes-Benz of Thousand Oaks has proudly served Moorpark and the surrounding areas since 1982. Nationwide, our hearts belong to the Raiders. Putting the needs of local communities first isn't just the key to our success, it's at the heart of everything we do. Let's talk today with Bill Saunders. Go Raiders at Nationwide. Matera Design Consultant. For all of your design, layout, and production needs, contact Vince Matera at vmatera@earthlink.net. At Matera Design Consultant. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We're now back with 4th quarter action here on the Moorpark Raider live stream between the Long Beach City College Vaqueros and the Moorpark Raiders. Still a 23-18 lead for Long Beach. There's a must snap on the punt. The ball on the ground, but they're finally going to pick it up. They do fumble it. Moorpark comes up with the ball, and they have it. They have it inside the 20.
About the biggest, you can say disaster,
yes,
sort of for Long Beach in terms of that is exactly the opposite of what they wanted on that play. It gives Moorpark really a break, and they are set up in prime field position. I was going to start it by saying now they want to, get some points on the board very fast, but they can afford to take their time now inside the 30, about the 25-yard line.
And they face their biggest challenge yet, though. With that being said, being in the red zone.
Wow, that's incredible. 1st down and 10 at the 20. Hand out to Archibald from Smith. He's going to be brought down. No forward momentum. Brought down for a loss of 4 on the play.
And guess what they can save as well? Their timeout. They still have, if the scoreboard's correct, they still have 1.
Yes, they should still have 1 timeout left. Under 3 minutes left in the game. We have 2:50 left in the duration of this one and counting. Moorpark, quick reminder, still down by 5 points. They need a touchdown. 2nd down and 14 from the 24. Smith has nowhere to go. He has to launch it to the left side of the field, able to get the pass completed of Vinny Corso, number 12.
And what you got to remember, too, here, guys, is this is definitely 4-down territory, of course. So it takes a little bit of stress off. Now, of course, everything is on the line. This is probably going to be the most pressure mentally that anyone on this offense is going to have to face. But it is 4-down territory, which gives a little bit of relief.
It's going to be a handout to St. Pierre. The fullback in right now gets past the 10-yard line. It should be enough for a 1st down. Multiple penalty flags being thrown right after the play, however.
And if you're Moorpark, you need to stay composed. You're right in prime position.
Does look to be on at least one of them is on Long Beach, one of the players here with the comments. We're not sure really what happened.
Brian Woodard, number 70, offensive lineman from Moorpark, has dealt with back injuries his career here. He is limping a little bit. Hopefully he's okay. There will be an official timeout, so while we do have a little bit of a break in the action once again, we're going to thank a few of our sponsors. Thank you very much for sponsoring Moorpark College Athletics. And here on the Moorpark Raider live stream, we can't do it without you. Los Robles Health System, 50 years of compassionate care. For more information, please call 877-888-5746 or visit losrobleshospital.com. Moorpark Country Club. Make a trip to Moorpark Country Club. While you're here, be sure to try our Sunday brunch at the Moorpark Country Club. Jersey Mike Subs, since 1956, not 1596, that's a little long ago, 1956, supporting the community that supports us. Moorpark College Raider Athletics, Jersey Mike Subs, a sub above, Visit them at 1197, that's 1197 East Los Angeles Avenue in Simi Valley, and say hi to Rich Vitolo. Jan's Marketplace, cheers to a successful season. Proudly supporting Moorpark College Athletics. Visit us on Facebook or at jansmarketplace.net for upcoming events and money-saving offers. The Hat Restaurant in Simi Valley, since 1951, 67 years of serving the world-famous pastrami, burgers, dogs, chili. Open 7 days from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Visit them at www.thehat.com. Ladin Auto Group, family-owned and operated for over 45 years, always close to home, located in the Thousand Oaks Auto Mall. Go Raiders! Best wishes for a great year at Ladin Hyundai of Subaru. And now we're back to the action. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. There were 2 offsetting penalties against both the teams, so they're just going to be replaying the down for a 3rd and 4, ball at the 14-yard line.
And you can say there's a catch-22. You could have gone for a field goal earlier. Another flag, possibly putting 2 flags.
Yes, multiple flags being thrown. It looked like it was false start at first, but then maybe a little extra contact after is going to result in offsetting penalties, I'm assuming.
Unless they are both on the same team. As we've seen earlier, if they are both on the same team, they will both be assessed, I believe.
Yes, they will be.
And Moorpark cannot afford any more penalties right now. I mean, they are so close to scoring and taking the lead for the first time since the first score of the game when they took the lead 3-0.
And I think, as I mentioned earlier, you could have gone for the field goal earlier, but it's a very tough call to make because you can second guess so easily.
So there will be multiple penalties. One is going to be both against the offense. There was a false start against them. There's going to be a personal foul against Moorpark, so both penalties enforced, as you were alluding to, Justin. That's going to be a big loss for Moorpark. That should be a 20-yard penalty because a 15 from a personal foul, and then it's also going to be a 5-yard penalty from a false start.
One thing you got to think about that might play out depending if Moorpark isn't able to score is that Moorpark had a serious chance to scoop and score that punt that was muffed. You saw that, I think it might have been DJ Turner, someone that was able to try and pick up the punt, but they lost it. So I mean, they picked it up, but they weren't able to pick it up clean and run it back. They had a chance to do that. So that could also be something to think about depending on how the score ends up playing out.
3rd down and long, about a 3rd and 24. Smith rolls out of the pocket. He has some room in front of him, gets down to the 20-yard line. They need to go quick. Only 1:50 left in the game. If they do go for a field goal kick, they are going to need to go for an onside kick right after. I may even be tempted to go for that because if you don't score right now, then you're down by 5. If you score a field goal kick, you're down by 2 points. I mean, it's a tough decision.
That's so tough because they haven't done it all year. As far as I'm aware, in the games that we've seen, I don't think – have we seen an onside kick, Ryan? I don't believe we have.
I don't believe from Moorpark's standpoint we haven't seen an onside kick yet.
See, and that's the thing about these penalties. Smith is doing everything he can to keep this offense not only on the field but in the game, literally in the game. So these penalties, which has been a storyline all year, you have to keep your head in the game and composed. I know in sports, emotion is such a driving force, but logically speaking, when you know where you're at on the field, it is so important to be able to keep composed and keep your offense in prime position to capitalize and succeed.
And what I like to see here, Ivory Jackson is pumping up the sideline right now, getting all of his players involved here, as this is going to be the biggest play, and it potentially will be the game.
And to the season at this rate, I believe.
Yes.
And also with that timeout, that basically alluded to you that they are going to be going for it. If they didn't call the timeout, then maybe a field goal kick. But Smith, empty backfield set. Pressure is coming. 4-man rush. Throws on the run. Cannot hit the wide receiver on a 4th down and 10 from the 20. There's no penalty flag that I see on the field. It's going to be a turnover on downs from Moorpark.
And essentially that will seal the game for Long Beach. And again, we can, at least on this drive, we can point all the way back to the penalty. Moorpark had the momentum. They got the stop. They had a couple of timeouts. In fact, they got the turnover. They got them on the, I believe it was about the 20, maybe even the 25-yard line. And that, honestly, it's a killer. It is very hard to get the yardage back and to have Smith have the ability to get the first down.
The most frustrating part probably for Moorpark on that drive alone was that they had that great field position,
Right.
and they still couldn't get anything done. No first downs, no points scored as they handed off down the middle. Moorpark has no timeouts, so with 1 minute, 20 seconds left on the clock.
Basically, you're looking at a first down and then a QB.
I don't even think they need to run it, actually, guys, at this point. I'm surprised they are. That's kind of dangerous for them because they can cause a fumble. Moorpark can get one more chance. But like I was saying, you can't win games until right now with penalties and when you can't execute inside the red zone. I think they were not positive. They were 1 for 4, maybe 1 for 5 in the red zone tonight. You can't expect to win games with those kind of numbers.
And right now, as they are looking to be able to go for an interesting formation on a 2nd down and 9.
Well, it looks like they're going to try and run the play clock all the way down to 1.
Yeah.
Take a knee, textbook.
And it is kind of victory formation, but they have the quarterback 6 yards behind in shotgun formation.
I think that could be protecting a possible fumble.
That probably is the
yeah.
thought behind it. That is true. That's a good point, Justin, because usually they're right there underneath the the center. But the final score of this game is going to be 23-18. This is the final regular season home game this year for the Moorpark Raiders. They're going to fall just by 5 points. Once again, 23-18. We're going to have our Raider 5th quarter locker room report post-game show in just a few moments, so make sure that you stay tuned with us as we're going to be having the post-game show, and we'll be back over on our side where we had our halftime show and our pregame show. So stay tuned in here for the Raider 5th quarter locker room report. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Raider 5th Quarter Locker Room Report, the post-game show presented to you by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to your coverage of Moorpark College football here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. The game just ended. It was Long Beach City College Vikings coming up with a victory over the Moorpark Raiders by a score of 23-18. Moorpark College just unable to convert on a 4th down and 10 on their final drive of the game. They used their final timeout. They were unable to convert, so when Long Beach took over, they were just unable to run out the clock. A little preview of that last part of the game, a little overview. But with this game, it seemed like Moorpark was really fluent on offense. They were pushing the football down the field. Multiple drives, they had over 4 first downs, some even 3 first downs, and they were just driving down, but just could not get it done. Once again, just for clarification, Ryan Ketchum, play-by-play commentator, Nick Federico, Justin Borsis, your color commentator analyst this evening. But it seemed like they were able to march down the field, and they did a pretty good job at that. What was the main difference, however, that they were able to march down but not able to score? What was that main difference why they weren't able to score?
I think it showed is because their production in the red zone. We just talked about right before the game ended, they had hardly any production. I think they went 1 for 4, 1 for 5. Not positive. I know that the numbers weren't very good. When they got to the red zone, they weren't able to execute. I mean, you can look at the last drive of this game right here. They're inside the red zone, penalized for a false start and then a personal
foul, I believe.
Yeah, personal foul.
Yes.
And that takes them right out there about the 6-yard line, moves them all the way back down to the 22. Then, of course, Smith is trying to make something out of nothing. It's a long 3rd down, 4th down and 10 now on their own. I think it was about 15, couldn't get it done. So the mental mistakes, also the physical mistakes. We saw so many penalties tonight. We kind of, I don't want to say expected it. We never expect that. But both teams coming into this game had over 100 yards each in penalties a game. Once again, both tonight had a bunch of penalties. So their red zone production was very low. That's one of the main reasons why they couldn't come away with the victory tonight, Ryan.
Well, and now Moorpark is probably over 100 penalties on the season. That is a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
And another big thing with this narrative tonight is drop passes. There was a lot of passes that Smith threw that could have been catchable, that either went through the hands or was juggled. There were some good defensive plays by Long Beach as well, but if you're Moorpark, the drop passes, the penalties, the ability to not get the running game going, and the ability to stay composed. We saw a lot of unsportsmanlike conducts, a lot of personal fouls, which could lead to chippiness, could lead to all those kinds of things. And it is important to maintain your composure and realize that you're here to win as much as you're here to play and love football as well.
And also, as we were speaking about Moorpark College, I think one of the main factors of Long Beach City College, you mentioned their defense, some
Correct.
great defensive plays, but an offensive end, the quarterback, Murphy. I mean, getting outside of the pocket, he was fine inside the pocket. He made some great throws, but when he got outside of the pocket, he was deadly. No matter what the Raiders did, it seemed like he just run amok on them. So what does Moorpark have to do to be able to change that? Obviously, they played dual threat quarterbacks in the past, but it seemed like Murphy was just having his way with the Raider defense.
Well, what we talked about coming into this game was they needed to be able to contain athletes like Murphy, pardon me. And though Drake Peabody was a starter up until last week, you know, you can never prepare for just one quarterback, and it seems that maybe they did that a little bit too much just because they had no answer for Murphy all game. Of course, during halftime, you always have adjustments, but like we've talked about before, they haven't made the correct adjustments during these halftimes. And, you know, they do have a lot of time when they're there, but they got to figure out what they can do in the second half because, of course, a football game, you're playing the same team throughout, but the first half and the second half are very different in the way that you play the team that you're going up against. So they need to, in the future, they need to figure out how to stop these mobile quarterbacks because this league has tons of talented athletes that are dual threats.
And we spoke about it with the stats, with the inability to convert on 3rd down. But the interesting thing is, where he is so deadly is not the design quarterback runs. It's the improvised quarterback runs. It's the ability to work outside the pocket, and the defense has a hard time reading where he may go. He may pass the ball. He may choose to run the ball. I didn't see a lot of option today, which is something I was looking for. But if you're Moorpark, you may want to start bringing an extra defender down from the secondary, somebody you think may be able to stop the running game or be able to maintain physicality. Dylan Chong, DJ Turner can come to mind. Those are some of the things scheme-wise that you can look for to maybe contain the run in any event, running back or quarterback moving forward.
And as you were mentioning, you were alluding to in the beginning, improvised runs by Murphy. Murphy, just like a great actor would, going off script and still able to stay with it and still able to get something positive out of it. Murphy able to get positive yards no matter what happened to him tonight.
And I think also there's something else we need to speak to. The depth of Long Beach today was very key. We saw a few guys go down. Pierre Robinson comes to mind. But their ability to rotate people to maintain their weapons was incredibly fun to watch, actually, as a broadcaster. And it was nice to see their rotation. Alex Tilley, also for Moorpark, was featured a lot today, somebody we haven't seen throughout the course of this season. So it was interesting to see all those different guys come in as key pieces.
And one thing I just want to add real quick, guys, is to go off the point of how they could contain Murphy is they weren't finishing these plays. Now, they constantly put pressure on him, which is great, but they weren't able to come away with sacks or, rushing the passer. They kind of they would get there, but he would break, like you talked about, improvised runs. He would just break loose, and that's something that Moorpark you can build off of. That's great. You're constantly causing pressure, making them rush the throw a little bit, but not nearly enough, and not nearly enough are they finishing these plays. And that's the main reason why he was able to run, for the most part, all over the Moorpark defense.
Well, that was the last regular season game of the year at home for Moorpark College. Moorpark College did take the loss by a score of 23-18 against the Long Beach City College Vikings. We're just going to thank a few more of our sponsors before we head off. Right now we have Stonefire Grill, where community is served, proudly supporting Moorpark College athletics. Stonefire Grill for all your catering needs. Call them at 855-SFG to go or order at order.stonefiregrill.com. Go Raiders. And Luminary Photo, weddings, events, headshots, families, and seniors. Check out luminaryphoto.com or call them at 805-587-7611. That's Luminary Photo. Once again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you very much to everybody that's tuning in to the live stream and also watching archived throughout the week. Thank you very much for supporting Moorpark College Athletics and here on the Moorpark Raider live stream. We really appreciate it. The production team has done a great job throughout this season. This is going to be the last time that they are going to be with us for a game this year for football season, since this is the last home game. There's still going to be 2 games left, which are going to be road games, which is at Bakersfield next weekend, and then the following weekend at East LA. So make sure that you stay tuned with us for those games, which will be available on Monday or Tuesday night of that week. So make sure that you stay tuned with that for archived footage. But once again, thank you to our production team. We can't do without them. We had over 12 interns this year working cameras, working technical director. We had Michael Grimes, our production manager, that did a fantastic job making this a professional broadcast, as well as Vern Vegso setting up all of the sponsorships that we have this year. Vance Manicus as well, athletic director, just putting this together. We had some great halftime interviews as well as today. We had some great people that joined us and great people that have helped this broadcast soar to a level that is even above that we would have thought.
We thank you all for sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much to everybody. So for our production team, for Vern Vegso, for Vance Manicus, for Michael Grimes, my name is Ryan Ketchum, for Justin Borsis and Nick Federico as well. This was your Raider 5th quarter locker room report presented by DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. Make sure that you stay tuned with us for the Moorpark Raider live stream, which will be coming up at Bakersfield next week and at East LA the week after. But thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great night, and make sure that you stay tuned with us for more action.